Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas make socks, slippers, tees, and underwear made with the highest quality materials. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for style, 3 for donation. You chose style. Bombas has styles for whatever you enjoy. You can run in Bombas, lounge in Bombas, dress them up, dress them down, but always give back in Bombas. Because with every item purchased, another is donated. Bombas, comfort worth calling for. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot, Rico. It's Rico and Bot live on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel on a Friday night. And Rico, it's not just any Friday night. It's the Friday before Wild Card Weekend. We are less than 48 hours removed from the Buffalo Bills playing single elimination, do or die playoff football as the 6 seed Buffalo Bills get set to take on the 3 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. Rico, talk to me, baby.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatic? Yes, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. My boy Z-Bot and I are ready to break down these Jaguars. Some Americans like to say Jaguars. I don't know where the I in there is, but the Jaguars are hosting the Buffalo Bills. And boy, oh boy, have I been reading and seeing a whole lot of like up and down predictions as to how this game is going to go. You got the Bills are going to take this no problem. Oh, the Jags, they're ready to take this. Lawrence has been playing lights out and XYZ. I'm here to tell you folks, we're not effing leaving. The Bills are not exiting this playoff. Not today, not this week, not this year. It's not happening. We're not ready to bow out to the Jaguars. We just can't, because that would be an absolute massive blow to this Bills team and to the legacy of Josh. But I'm going to talk about that a little later. But I, for one, went from being nervous to I'm mother effing excited. I'm excited for this game. And you guys know how I feel sometimes, man. Sometimes when I don't feel good about a game, it don't go well. I feel good about this one. I feel good. But my buddy over here, he's not sure. He's nervous, but he feels good. So I don't want to put words in his mouth. Z-Bot, excited or still nervous about this big matchup against these Jaguars?
Oh, listen, brother, I'm about as nervous as it gets. I really wish that I had a doctor, because I'm going to need a doctor. I'm going to need to get my heart checked. That's how nervous I've been all week long. In fact, wait a minute. What the? My heart's been pumping so crazy. We're getting ready for this game, and man, I got the stethoscope on it right now, and I got the doctor, and he's reading my blood pressure right now. He's reading my beats per minute, and now I'm starting to get a little bit more nervous about that injury situation a little bit, Rico. I might be on the injury list myself. There's some other players on the Bills injury list. I got to get some information about this injury list. I got to get a thigh dance. I got to get a thigh dance in right now. Oh my God. I got to get a wild card thigh dance in right now to get ready for the playoffs. I got my heart checked, and I need my injury update. And with the playoffs here, I figured we'd do it in person. We got the Thigh Doc, ladies and gentlemen, live with us at the Z-Bot Studios. Thigh Doc, talk to him, baby.
What's up, Rico?
What up, big fella? Oh, I can't make it. I'm gonna.
Listen, we figured this is as big as it gets. So Thigh Doc came over with some Pills Mafia. He said, let me check that heart. Let me check that injury report. Let me hop on Rico and Bot. I said, say no more.
I like it. Yo, give me that side dance again. One more time. One more again.
Now you noticed the tearaway pants. Let me get into let me zoom out here. Here we go. I got the 0.5 camera rocking. Look at that.
Hey.
Look at that technique.
Hey.
Look at that technique. And that's something you can't teach, folks. In fact, he's tried to teach it to me before, and I just can't grasp it. I can't do it the way the originator of it does it, And many have tried and many have failed. But unfortunately for everyone but Thigh Doc, just can't replicate it.
This was actually perfect. Love to see it. Love to see the Thigh Master, the Thigh Doc himself in the building. Look at him. He's as happy as a kid in a candy shop. Look at this guy.
Where did we get the custom shirt, by the way? I'm just noticing the custom shirt.
Yo, the thighs on the custom shirt is legit. Whose thighs are those?
My AI thighs.
There you go.
You've been using AI a lot lately. Yeah, it's looking good on you.
Did you notice that these kind of match?
He's got a good tan.
Yeah, no, I don't even know where the hell you get those either. He's literally got on like biker short Zubas. I don't even know where you'd begin to get those.
The biker short Zuba. AI probably made it for him, for crying out loud.
They're
What's going on?
They're custom made.
Doc, talk to me. What's happening, baby?
Made. All right, well, Thigh Doc, give us the rundown here because Sean McDermott spoke today, and we got an injury update about a variety of different guys. So how are you feeling health-wise as we're heading into Sunday here? Because obviously all year long we've been dealing with injuries. I looked at the list today, and it was about as long as it's been in a while. So how concerned should we be about it?
Not too concerned, everybody. So who we have out will be Bernard.
Right.
I need the list up.
Oh, you need the list. I thought I was dealing with a professional over here, Rico. My bad. I got to get the list up for this guy.
We got Bernard and Max out.
Yeah, so Maxwell Harrison, we know without. He made that very clear, and he said Bernard is absolutely out.
Shaq Thompson was a guy he noted was banged up, by the way. And that's interesting because Bernard's out. Do you know anything about what's going on with Shaq Thompson?
So Shaq Thompson still got the neck injury from a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Not a big deal because he's played since the injury. I think they just put him in the non-contact just to keep him healthy for this week, as they've been kind of tapering people down going into the end of the season here. And I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be playing. Coach even said he should be good.
Here we go. We finally got it out for Thigh Doc. I thought he was going to bring it over with him. I thought he would have it laminated and printed out, but I got it digitally here.
It wasn't working.
Here's the list. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, exactly. So Bernard's out. We knew that. Maxwell Hairston, that's a couple-week injury. Looks like a high ankle sprain. The big one that we think might be able to play is Ty Johnson. So he rolled his ankle, but he was able to finish the game. So I would assume he's going to be able to go just kind of at like 85, 90%, which could affect the third down situations. You might see maybe people have always been clamoring Cook on third downs. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Joey Bosa, he said the other day it's the healthiest he feels going into the postseason, but he was a limited participant in practice. Do you think that that's just precautionary, kind of give him a rest day before the game?
Absolutely. If I think there was something to be concerned about, he would have had a game day status.
Right, he doesn't have a game day status. So, Rico, that's looking like we'll be good to go there. And I think that's one of the silver linings, by the way, with the injuries that the Bills have had. I think if everybody could have had a crystal ball before the year, maybe the one prediction they would have made would be, we love having Joey Bosa, but is he going to be healthy for the postseason, right? I mean, you were looking at that signing, and that's really ideally when you wanted him for. You really didn't care if he was available the rest of the year. I think that's probably the best thing you could possibly see going into this postseason. I know Ed Oliver's out, and Sean McDermott mentioned that, by the way, next week. We'll talk about that in a second. But just having Joey Bosa healthy, I think that's huge. It would be even bigger, however, in the divisional if he was paired up with Ed Oliver. You've been all over this injury, Thigh Doc, because it's been interesting how he progressed quicker than many thought, and then all of a sudden there was a setback. Then today, Sean McDermott said there would be plenty of boxes that would need to be checked. But should the Bills beat the Jags, Ed Oliver could return to practice next week. What do you make of that?
I think that's fair. Now, the meniscus injury that he had to have surgery on, usually guys can come back in like 2 to 4 weeks after that. So I don't think that is actually even the limiter in returning to play. It's still the bicep. Bicep surgery is a 5-month surgery. They were giving him a window to come back early at 3 months, only because it's the playoffs. But that's a high risk to re-injure. And, you rupture a bicep that they just fixed. I mean, it's going to be more damage and a harder surgery and some actual big-time issues down the road. So I still think he's always been and still is Super Bowl or bust. By opening the window next week, that gives him the 3 weeks to get ready in game shape. I don't think if they open the window and let him come to practice next week, he's playing in the divisional round. Slim chance for AFC Championship if they feel like that's like do or die enough. But just don't imagine Ed Oliver's just popping back in here next week.
Now, here's another one that I find to be interesting, and I think it might be the most interesting because we're looking at the kicking battle in this one, Rico. Yep. And the Jags might have the best kicker in the league. I mean, Cam Little, he's hit a 67-yarder just a week ago, 68-yarder earlier in the year. The Bills right now are lucky they even have a kicker. So Matt Prater been dealing with that quad injury, didn't practice Wednesday, full practice Thursday. Then Vidoc, I'm looking at this, did not practice Friday. What's the deal with Prater? And I'm guessing he's going to go, but what do you make of this and how reliant can the Bills be on him despite playing? Because it just feels like he is not close to 100% right now.
It's actually terrifying. So you got a 41-year-old kicker who pulled his quad on his kicking leg. It's an injury that probably needs about a month. They gave him 3 weeks off, 2 games off. He had an extra week because of practice the third game. And then he tightened up. He kind of had a setback, but not enough where he pulled his quad again and kind of reset the clock for another month. But now he gets another week, and we're thinking about putting him in the playoffs. So I'd be terrified. Like this guy, the guy pulls the quad in the beginning of the game. You're not going to have a kicker for the whole game. Now, a couple options they can have. They can obviously rest him for a week and call up the practice squad kicker. They can put him in the game, probably not stress him with long kicks. Maybe have the punter do kickoffs, which is a little risky, something he's probably not comfortable with, but he did in the second half. The worry would be giving him bad field position out of bounds or screws that up. But it's very risky. I mean, the easiest thing to do would just be to get the other kicker in there and not have to worry about all this. But Prater has been pretty reliable when he's in there. And if it comes to something where he is in a short kick, I mean, it's money for him. So the Bills, they really have to weigh this. It doesn't sound like, they're using words like precautionary, why they him out last week, which is promising, but it still got me on the edge of the seat. So very interesting to see what happens. Even if they call up the practice squad kicker tomorrow, that doesn't mean he is out of the game. I mean, it lends you to believe that it's really, really close,
100%.
But they might just want to do that just in case he gets off the plane, feels a little tight on game day, and they got to make this.
I'm gonna be real, guys. If he is not 100%, especially with a right quad, and such a huge muscle, sit him, and just get the new guy to come in, and that way we don't have to worry about because what happens is he goes out, we say he's good to go, kicks the extra point, he's done for the game. So now we got to worry about extra points all game long, and we're now having to going for two. I don't want to have to hear that crap. Just put a freaking kicker in that's going to play the whole damn game. If he's a liability, because we had him looking good, and then that's it. Oh, if the Jets are wondering why they're going for two, they don't know that their kickers are. I'm not trying to hear all that. Oh, his kick is wide or get the new guy in and just hope he's not like Bagley and he's able to do something. At least he's 100%.
I can't imagine a more Billsy thing.
Yeah.
Than for him to kick the first extra point, blow the quad out, then they got to go for two the rest of the game, and they lose by one. I swear to God, of all of the things that have happened in my lifetime and my lifetime to the Bills, that would be one thing that you could see on that list, and you would just be like, yep, who else but the Buffalo Bills? Especially when you're on the other end of things here, going up against a guy that can drill it from the opposite 40. I mean, that's the insane thing here. The Jags need 15 yards off the kick to score points. That's a huge advantage in this game that I feel like not enough people are talking about. You talk about Josh Allen, you talk about the run defense for Jacksonville, you talk about James Cook, this and that. Cam Little could single-handedly be the difference in this game when you factor in the inability for the Bills to match what he's able to do. There
is no question about that. That's a big-time advantage. And this is the thing, right? 3 phases of the game, he's a huge phase of that game. So they go, we get a big 3rd down stop. It's on the, I don't know, just past the 50-yard line. Man, get this brother out here and kick that field goal. Typically, anybody would be punting that thing, but this guy's got such a strong leg. What a dynamic part of that offense and special teams that they have. But if it's coming down to us, like you said, what a Billsy thing to do. He comes out, kicks an extra point, he's out of here. Kicks his first kickoff out of bounds. He's hurt. We're now dealing with. I'm not trying to deal with any of that stuff. So if it's got to be the new guy, get the new guy in. At least we know he's 100%. Now I got to go to my thigh doc about this one because this is one that's really pissing me off. Just pissing me off. I'm actually now mad. Joshua Palmer. Joshua freaking Palmer.
Had it with this guy.
Listen, I went from being the biggest fan of this signing, and I think he's going to be a great thing, and now he's just pissing me off where he's in, he's out, he's not doing it, he's back in. Talk to me. Should we even bother with this ankle injury that we've been doing? Like, listen, sit him down if he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. What are your thoughts?
It doesn't look like he's going to be playing, so he didn't practice at all this week. I know the team's saying that he's going to give it a try, and they put him as questionable. But at this point, the way the Bills have depth at the position, in a way, I know there's no superstars, but they're like 6 to 7 bodies deep. They could also call up Hardman. I don't see why you would force him into the game if he's missed practice the whole week. Obviously, his ankle's bothering him. He had the high ankle injury like early to mid-season in that Falcons game. You know, this is a great example of why high ankles suck. Not only do they take a couple weeks, but they're easy to aggravate. And then once they get aggravated, they're cranky for a couple weeks. They settle down, you go back and play. I mean, he really needs probably a month, 6 weeks off of that ankle again. With that said, didn't practice all week. I would assume this is some type of gamesmanship. If this was like regular season, he would already be listed out. But expect, Keon Coleman. This is time to shine. I don't see Palmer playing this Sunday.
That's all right, though, Rico, because as you know, big game Gabe, he's got the playoffs on the line. He's got the Jags revenge factor on the line.
Definitely Gabe is good.
We all know that's gonna be the ultimate difference. One last thing on the injury front.
Yep.
You don't even need to put that up because there's no need. He's practiced full the last 3 days. But it's 17. What do you make of this right now, Thigh Doc? Because the interesting thing, Rico and I were talking about this, the interesting thing about Allen, he could have the worst injury you've ever seen, and you never know. That's the problem. You just do not know the severity of whatever he's dealing with. But you can tell when he's gone to get x-rays twice after 2 consecutive games, and there seems to be a noticeable limp at some point throughout that game. He's slowed down on his movement noticeably. Didn't play anything other than the first snap last week. So you got 2 weeks rest here. But what do you make of Allen and that foot going into this week? Because we know the mobility of Allen is never more prominent than this time of year. Is that going to be affected based on what he's gone through the last month?
He's going to be good until he's not. So he's had 2 weeks recovery. That's the best he's probably felt in a month. Now, he played the Browns game. He had the injury. He went back in. He didn't do much in that. And he came out in the Eagles game. He actually moved around a little bit, right, in a cold, rainy day. And he had the audacity in a game that really didn't matter too much to do the exact same mechanism of injury when he turned on his right foot, turned back around, and got sacked, the one that got us out of field goal.
You don't need to remind me.
Same injury. That is the exact same maneuver that caused his injury in the Browns game. Him being able to do that bodes well. That means it must not have been that bad. But it re-aggravated the foot. And we saw him limping. He rolled his ankle at some point in the middle of the game. And now he's got 2 weeks off. I'm assuming this is a mid-foot sprain. Okay, those are the ligaments in the middle of your foot. They're not great. They, mild ones need a week, but moderate ones can take a month. So he's probably somewhere in the, the mild to medium. And now he's got 2 weeks off. It's 4 weeks since the initial injury, 3 weeks since the Eagles game. I think he's going to be in pretty good shape. But all it takes is just that, that one step, a bad roll-up, a rolled ankle, a little tweak here, and you might see him limping again. There's no way Allen's going to pull himself out of the game. He doesn't have a fracture. They reported that the x-rays were negative. I don't think he's playing through a fracture. Some people are humming that. But at the end of the day, it's the playoffs. It's Josh Allen. I think if you need him to run, he will. But I think they're going to try to do it without. maybe a little sprinkle here and there of a designed run, maybe in the red zone, I would assume.
Right.
But, what's the moral of the story? I think he's risky. It's risky for him right now. But don't worry unless something happens and gets aggravated.
Hold on a second. So Z-Bot has Thigh Doc next to him. You ready to come on? You guys didn't realize, but I got Carl Jones with me, and he's about to switch seats.
Get him in.
What? Dudes and dudes?
Sorry, I'm pranking you guys. It's not happening. I got you. Bot was
like, he had me, man. I thought you guys were having it. I thought you were hanging. Well, listen, before we let Thigh Doc go, because many people don't know this, but Thigh Doc, and maybe it makes sense because, as you know, Thigh Doc's a man of many talents, one of which building Lego sets. And Thigh Doc was at the Lego store early Friday morning, waiting outside the store, camped out essentially for what I believe to be a limited edition Stranger Things set, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but for my kid.
Come on. You don't listen. Thigh Doc's acting like he's above this. I responded. I said, that's awesome. I was up till 4 a.m. shopping for vintage McFarlane NFL figures. So, it's not like we are above anything like Lego sets, which I love, by the way. I just don't have the patience to do them. Thigh Doc does. So he's got to go home and do the Stranger Things set build. Is your son into the show, by the way? Is that why? He is.
Nerd alert.
Yeah. So they binge watched the whole thing in 1 week.
Not a boy.
We were at my mother's. We were a little snowed in. He was a little sick for a while in the game. Just laid it on the TV all day. We did other things.
Oh, I'm not dogging you for it. I think I'm just impressed by it. I'm legitimately impressed. It got 5 billion streams, by the way. I haven't seen 1 millisecond of that show, and I don't think I'll ever see a millisecond of that show.
Stranger Things?
Yeah, they don't have that up in Canada, do they? The Stranger Things.
Of course. I tried to get into it the first few weeks. I was like, oh, this is new, and then I was like, okay, I'm not following a bunch of children going into the upside down world and the demigoggin nonsense. Get out of here. Move, Millie, 7, 11, whatever the hell her name is. I'm done. I'm not doing this.
The only scene I caught was that dude.
SNL broke it down so great.
They're like, that was epic. Other than
I gotta say this because Bot doesn't know about this, but like SNL did a fantastic job. Ain't no black kid running around town with all these little white kids and doing nonsense, and your black parents are saying, where your ass at? Like, why aren't you out in the middle of the night doing all this nonsense? There would be no way. Unrealistic. And SNL did a great skit saying, whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, wait a minute. Why wouldn't I know about that? I enjoy an SNL episode every now and then.
Yeah, but you don't watch the Stranger Things, so you wouldn't know the reference of
what
was taking place.
Wait, you do watch the Stranger Things?
I tried watching when it first came out, and I couldn't do it. I was like,
you gave it a run.
Yeah, I gave it a run. Couldn't do it.
All right. Well, Rico couldn't do it. Rico's never. You done The Wire?
The Wire, yeah.
Rico taps out on The Wire every time.
Tap out.
Yeah.
Wire's great.
Wire's amazing. We were just arguing about this the other day.
Wait till season 92, and then it'll get good.
You gotta. It's a slow burn. And it doesn't have a payoff like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul does. The realism is what you're there for.
I need that they slow burn me, and then boom. Now I'm in.
Yeah, there really isn't that. I mean, there's some crazy moments, but the ending isn't like this big gotcha or whatever.
Dare I say overrated? Dare I say?
Well, yeah, I know. Since you saw so much of it, I think that you have every right to call it overrated. I think that would be a fair assessment. Anyway, Thigh Doc, what do you think about Sunday? Because I got to tell you, I haven't had a solid night's sleep all week. Rico's feeling confident. He swears by the end of this episode, he's going to have me feeling fully confident. How do you feel as we sit here Friday night taking on Jacksonville in less than 48 hours?
I feel good. I know the national media is like really like rolling out the red carpet for the Jaguars here. You can take that one of two ways. Either they're going to stick it to them, or everybody's on the inside here. I think Bills, one of my conspiracies. The NFL wants Josh Allen to get deep in the playoffs. There is no marquee elite quarterback left.
I just got to say, by the way, some of every time I see you reply to a pale white horse, it makes my day.
You should be friends with it. Yeah,
I love that guy because the guy. So there's like an account on Twitter Pale White Horse, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's convinced every single element of every single game is rigged, yet he watches every single game you could possibly imagine that's on television. It's incredible.
Fake injuries.
All of it.
He scored from the 33. You know?
Everything's
Love
the
it.
33.
He's in the Illuminati.
Why is it the 33?
Because I think it's Anyways, so I do feel like the NFL is going to want to push Allen through here. They gave the Bills the favorites. They want the money to go on the Jags by pumping up through national media, and then they're going to stick it to them. I have a good feeling we're going to get some calls this Sunday. They're going to give him the Josh Allen treatment. Josh Allen is going to show up, but those close plays are going to go our way, and I think we're going to win by 4.
I got by 4 too.
There it is.
The telepathy here.
Yeah,
The telepathy. So do you think that
What?
Talk about the telepathy again? Yeah, he wanted you to get closer.
So
Yeah,
do you
did you-
think you'll
did you
get
cut your
that
hair?
step
Did you
built
get your
in
haircut
one
yet or what?
swing, or is that like a week? Is that like a time thing for you?
It's probably a weekend project.
See, that's
I-
awesome. I love that.
Ask my boy if he got his haircut yet.
Me?
No, he knows what I'm talking about. You still got the, oh yeah, he does. There
That's
it is.
looking
There's
good.
that
You're giving me Joe from Friends vibes.
It's all messed up
Joey.
because of the Buffalo.
There you go.
Let me
There
see
you
the
go,
bubble.
Joey.
This is a Christmas gift. By the way, it's a Christmas gift for Thigh Doc. He
That's all
says
I wanted.
I love it. I love it.
it's
He's rocking
all
it.
you wanted. How do you even go about asking for that? What did you say you
I
wanted?
just sent the link to my wife. I'm going to wear it to the Bills.
What is it?
Bills games podcast and when I storm the Capitol.
My guy.
It does kind of have the vibe of that one guy from the cat. What is it?
It's a buffalo.
Oh, I didn't
it goes
show
with-
show the camera. You
goes-
can't see the eyes and the
Goes
horns.
with the wild coat.
Well, how about you lower yourself first of all?
My wife didn't want me.
Right,
to
you've been
have
power. You've been having this power status over Z-Bot this whole damn show. Bring yourself a little lower, man. What are you, like some boss?
He's sitting on a stool.
I'm this
I don't
much
give a damn what
taller
he's
than
doing.
him.
Lower yourself,
I only
sir.
had a stool. I'm not a very great host.
It is what it is.
He's also sitting cross-legged on his chair.
Oh,
You
is
know
he one
what?
of those
My
guys?
wife gives me Caroline gives me crap for that all the time. Yes, I enjoy a nice cross-legged sitting sesh.
Yeah, but
Caroline says I'm gonna have to get my
in,
feet
I
removed.
get it.
What's so bad about that? She's on me all the time on that. You don't ever sit like that? Well, listen, Thigh Dog wants his thighs to breathe. I don't have the thighs like him, so that's the problem. That's it.
I like it. I like it.
This was great, brother. I can't thank you enough for
I love
coming
you
by.
guys.
We love you more,
We got
and
this.
we're glad we got the full experience.
You went for the dap. You went for the hug. What's going on, man? Yo, hit that dap, man.
No, I mean I like the hug more. Oh,
Oh,
that actually
you
hurt me.
gotta
I
work
might
on
be
that.
on the IR now.
Put it on.
Let me tell you, when that feels like grabbing, I'm not kidding you, titanium. I mean it. I'm not kidding. You grab the Thigh Doc's legs, you might as well be grabbing a steel beam.
Where did I put my pants?
You got
Hey,
your
by the way,
pants?
did we get,
By
did
the
we
way,
get any pictures?
one
Did
last
we get
thing.
any
Let me
pictures
see
of
that
Thigh Doc and Zoe?
I think Zoe's eating.
They definitely hid the kid when I came.
We did hide the child when Thigh Doc got here. We were kind enough to let him see her from a
There you
distance.
go. Love it.
But that
Love
was it.
love
Look at
love
this thing, by the way.
That's awesome, man. Love
It's
it.
awesome. Does anybody ever recognize you when a patient or no? Like just somebody you're working with, not a patient, but you know what I mean.
I
One of
wonder.
your
Like, not
clients.
to let Z-Bar get to it, but I wonder if is it an older we get, the more we want to cross leg? Because growing up, I never used to cross leg.
Me
You'll
either.
catch moments sitting on a couch watching TV, and I'll be cross legged, and I'll catch myself. I'm like, what am I doing? But there's
Yeah.
a sense of comfort in that. What's that about?
It's the comfort factor. Yeah, I'm not doing it because I think it looks good. It's all about the comfort.
We didn't do it when we were younger, so why all of a sudden we're cross legged? What's going on?
I'm also a very fidgety person. Like I even have like one of these stupid little things here that I'll play with while we're talking because I just am losing my mind. Brother, give me another hug.
We got this.
Oh,
Listen,
dap.
we got
We're
this,
still
boys.
dapping again.
Thanks again to the Thigh Doc for stopping by in
He's still
person. I'm
dap.
afraid to let him walk out because my wife's out there, and I got a feeling I'll never win her back if Thigh Doc gets 5 minutes alone with her. So
There you go.
I'm gonna have to look at the security camera on the way out. All right, brother. Don't forget your. Thigh Doc brought his lunch pail with him.
Oh, there you go.
He's got
That's
his
my guy, man.
Toradol shots in there. See you, Thigh Doc. Thank you, brother. Thigh Doc, the man. You know, it's crazy. Thigh Doc, he lives right down the road.
Is he
So we
that
said we
close?
got to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're kidding me. He's that close, and you don't bring him in just to kind of have a jam sesh.
Well, the thing of it is like, no, that's the thing. We've been meaning to do it. We know when we were supposed to do it,
Right.
was the draft. Remember, like, I literally got like dysentery and I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the last time we were supposed to do it, Caroline decided that she had to go give birth. So this was we finally got to got around to doing something. And I'm telling you right now, we make the Super Bowl. I think Thigh Doc, I mean, I might have to get him on the roof or something and have him do. I
think this collab was what is going to surge and push the Bills towards stardom and Super Bowl stardom. I'm feeling it. I feel good. I'm feeling good.
All right. So as we transition back into somewhat of a normal show here, let's start back at the beginning here. Let's start with the basics, because this is, I've been saying all week, it's the worst time of the year. It's the best time of the year. Worst time of the year because the anxiety, it's up to 11. Rip the knob off.
Yep.
And weirdly enough, I've come to terms with it. I think I was more anxious at the conclusion of the Jets game once I initially found out the seeding in the game that was going to be played. I think I was more nervous then than I am now. And I think that's not because I'm feeling any better about it, maybe slightly. I think it's more of acceptance. And maybe it's a little bit of tribalism where now I'm in go mode. You know, initially in the week, it was more, man, like it's a little ways away and I got a lot of time to psych myself out, right? And now as we're getting closer, I'm getting into like war mode, right? I'm getting into this idea of they can't lose to these guys, right? So where are you at right now? And I guess the best way to ask you this, are you feeling this way with your heart or are you feeling this way with your head?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm feeling this way. Well, you know what? You can't not feel a type of way where you're feeling with your heart, where you're like, man, I want this so bad. But then when you start looking at the analytics and I'm more of a, like, I mean, you and I are somewhat similar in terms of like, we love numbers and we can do all those things, but give me the film. I want to see what these Jaguars, because I haven't watched a lot of Jaguars football this year, right? So now give me a chance to catch up on these Jaguars. Man,
look at this. I mean, that was right on cue.
He says he's been on go mode. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm on go mode right the F now. I was like, I got today, I had a moment to just catch up and watch these Jaguars. I'm looking at these guys saying, yo, y'all ain't anything special like we haven't seen before.
Pause. You got to relax on this. Are you being for real right now?
Shit, I'm not relaxing nothing. Let me keep rolling, because I'm looking at this Jaguars team and listen, they're no different than what the Bills team were last year. Listen, they've got 22 takeaways. Last year, the Bills had 32 takeaways. And a lot of times these guys are saying, well, the reason the Bills are so good and why they have the record that they have is because they're opportunistic. If it weren't for these turnovers, they wouldn't be where they're at, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was the verbiage that that was being used against the Bills last year. No different than what the Jaguars. The Jaguars had a fantastic year of taking the ball away. They had nothing near the takeaways they had last year, and you saw what the record was. So their defense has started to kind of catch up a little bit, but you're going up against Josh Allen in playoff mode. I don't give a rat's ass what you've done all regular season. Playoff Josh is different. And then you want to sprinkle in a little bit of James Cook. You got me looking like Macho Man. You want to sprinkle in a little bit of James Cook. Now you have yourself a fearful team. And that is the Buffalo Bills, bro. Damn all that chatter coming from all these analytics talking about, if Trevor Lawrence is a really good football, he's looking confident as ever. I don't give a rat's ass. This is the time that Josh builds on his effing legacy right now. Everybody's counting you out. You're 0-4 on the road in the playoffs. You ain't diddly squat. You ain't this and you ain't that. Josh is going to be like, you know what? Let me stack one W at a time. And it's going to start with the Jaguars. Then it's going to shut everybody up. And then it's going to be like, all right, these Bills are for real. They've been for real. But now the Jags have had a hot little, ending of the season, and now we're supposed to be afraid of these Jags? Hell no. I respect the Jags. I respect the players that they got. Bro, I'm taking 17 all day. I'm taking 4 all day. And now sprinkle in, you know what I'm saying, a very good, close to elite offensive line. Bro, let's roll. You just gave Josh a whole week to self-reflect, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. And now you have another week's rest? Bro, shut everybody up. Shut the freaking Jags up, and let's move on to the next round. But it starts on the road, Duval. Duval's going to turn into the 7-1-6. I don't care what anybody tells me. That's how pumped I am. Now the whole fear of this Jaguars team is out the window. Give me the Jags, baby. I'm pumped, and I'm ready to get you pumped because you in this, I'm not sure, and maybe we're going to win. Man, fuck all that, man. Let's get into this, man. Wake up, baby. Let's go.
The head and the heart.
Let's go. Talk to me now.
The head and the heart. Oftentimes they are at opposing ends. They are in different corners of the ring, Rico. I find myself battling with that same issue yet again this week, where the head and the heart are yet again at odds. My heart's telling me, of course the Bills are winning. Right? My heart is telling me that because that is, of course, what I want desperately. My head is telling me a lot of rational things. My head is telling my heart a lot of rational tidbits that are making me think the other way as well. My gut feeling has not been good all week. I wouldn't lie to you guys. My gut feeling has not been good. Then again, however, last year going into the AFC Championship for the first time, I think, ever against the Chiefs, my gut feeling was feeling good. We all know how that went. I got to tell you, this is about as 50-50 as I've been on a Bills game in a very, very, very long time. I have been at constant odds with myself all week. But the one thing I keep coming back to is the one thing you emphasize the most. It's 17. It's 17. And I've said this to my dad before when we're watching games and they'll go down by like 2 scores and then they'll come back. And even if they don't win, it comes down to a point in the game where they had a chance to win, right? Like even if you go back to the Falcons game where they're getting destroyed in the first half, they had a chance to win. The Texans game, they're getting destroyed in the first half. They had a chance to win. I look back, Tom Brady, and how you think of Mahomes. And maybe it's not on that level, but there's still something to be said about this idea that you cannot, with any confidence, bet against this guy. Does that mean he's going to win every time? No.
Right.
But it's really hard to talk yourself into betting against Josh Allen, especially when we are going into a time of year in which he plays his best football. This is an MVP quarterback. This is a Hall of Famer. And he takes that resume up to another level this time of year. The last 5 playoff games, 0 turnovers. His entire playoff resume, 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The guy's playoff resume alone, if it were to be a full season, it's 4 games shy of what would currently be a full regular season. It'd be an MVP caliber year. The guy's been incredible. The problem is he has 6 losses, 4 to the Chiefs, and he gets unfairly at times ridiculed as a result.
Yep.
I look at this game, and I can't make the argument to you that the Buffalo Bills are the better football team. I don't think the Bills are a better team than Jacksonville. If we're talking about teams, I think that Jacksonville has the better team collectively. But there might not be another sport in existence that is as reliant on one positional group as football is on the quarterback. The Cleveland Browns, for instance, Myles Garrett's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. They won 3 games. As important as he is to that football team, he just broke the single-season sack record. They didn't sniff a winning record, much less a playoff berth. This Bills team doesn't sniff a wild card berth if Josh Allen isn't at quarterback. And this Bills team in and of itself wouldn't even be recognizable by half the people the amount of people now that know who the Bills are on the street. I always bring up the analogy, who does your grandma know? If I were to ask your grandma to list off football teams or quarterbacks right now, Josh Allen would be in the 3 to 6 quarterbacks she'd be able to list off, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what it's going to come down to. I think it's going to come down to this. And this is why, as the week has gone on, even though I've looked at it and I've looked at the matchup, and I say they got the number one run defense and they've won 8 straight. And Trevor Lawrence has thrown 1 interception in his last 6 games. He's got a 19-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, right? They have an 1,100-yard rusher in ETN. They do have a really solid wide receiver core. Liam Cohen could win Coach of the Year and nobody would bat an eye at it. They got all these things going for them. When you look back, Tom Brady didn't win every playoff game, but were you ever going to bet against him? Patrick Mahomes hasn't won every playoff game. Were you ever going to bet against him? And I think with the Bills and Josh Allen, it's different because they don't have the resume those two guys have. But other than the Chiefs, and with them removed, how can you talk yourself into betting against Josh Allen? Because that's been the only real guaranteed exit based on history here. So that's where I'm at right now, Rico. My mind is telling me all these things, but it's also telling me these other things that are more correlated to my heart. And I think the one thing to emphasize here, and I know it's cliche, by the way, like the quarterback, it's all anybody talks about. But once again, like, look no further than the fact that the Bills are favored in this game, and they should not be favored. They are a 6 seed going on the road against a team who has won 8 straight games. When does that ever favor the opposing team coming into the building? Well, it does when you have this guy at quarterback. And this is why you got to think about this a bit differently. The other thing is, too, what's Trevor Lawrence going to look like? Hasn't made the postseason in 3 years. He's only made it once, 2 games, 1-1. This is where, when you're going into year 8, and this is your 7th consecutive year in the postseason, this is where this stuff has to matter. So there's a lot to dive into here, Rico, but I think the big thing here that separates the Bills from the Jags, beyond all the other arguments you could have to take the Jaguars, the biggest part of the game is in the Buffalo Bills' favor.
All right. You know what has to happen? And I love everything you said, because your heart is saying, I want this. But there's a little bit part of that brain that's saying, but guys, it's just, they're ripped off an 8-game win streak, and we don't have the roster that we should have, and they're just a better team, and you're wrestling right now. Right now, you're on that fence, and you don't know where to lean. Let me help you. Let's go back to 2016. Remember this guy? Huh? You remember that guy? 2016, LeBron James. You think he gave a rat's ass who was on his? You think he gave a rat's ass who were his teammates? He was like, bro, I know what needs to happen. We're going up against, at the time, obviously, 73-9, the Golden State Warriors, right? He had to put the team on his back. That's what Josh has to do. There's no more talking. Josh, you already know what time it is. The narrative right now is saying Pat Mahomes is not here. Lamar Jackson's not here. Joe Burrow's not here. They're naming all the people that are not here. Okay, well, Josh, they are here. You're right. But he's not going up against them. I was one of those people who's talking about that, the same thing. But this is your opportunity. This is it. Nobody's giving a rat's ass what the problem is. They're looking at 17 because he's paid for what he's supposed to do and lead his team. You don't have to have everything immaculate. You know what does have to be immaculate? Your play, your leadership to lead your guys over these Jaguars, over these Patriots, over these Denver Broncos. It doesn't matter who's in this man's path. 17 is the best quarterback that's in the playoffs right now. Prove it. Because I'll tell you right now, if he does this, man, you saw what it did for LeBron. LeBron was already the dude. He was already that man. But once he won that championship, there was no denying that man. There was no denying it. If LeBron only won 1 championship in his career, that's going to stand alone. Josh Allen does that for the city of Buffalo, and he says, damn all the noise, damn all the people talking. I'm putting this team on my back. Yo, Keon, come with me. Hey, Dion, come with me. Hey, Taron Johnson, come with me. Everybody do their role. Hey, Iman Shumpert, do your job. Damon Jones, do your job. Do your job. If you guys do your job, I will lead the way. Follow me. This is what Josh has to do. He has to lead. Whether he's vocal, everything that needs to be done to show that you are a champion, you are a leader, you're elite, you're a future Hall of Famer, show it in these playoffs. Who cares about all those other crap that you barely, people are talking about, oh, you're the 6th seed. Nobody cares. Make the dance. Make the dance. That's the way I'm looking at this right now. I'm not trying to hear nothing else. Make the dance and do what you got to do. Because I'll tell you right now, how's it going to look if he goes and gets blown out by the Jaguars?
Well, that's the question. I had a buddy text me, point blank, out of nowhere. It wasn't even a hey first. It was just the question. How much does a loss on Sunday affect Josh Allen's legacy? That was a great question.
A lot.
I said it depends on how they lose if they were to lose. And I think that matters a great deal. The Bills lost 38-35. You'd be a fool to put this one on Josh Allen and knock his legacy down a peg. Because that'd be like knocking his legacy down a peg for doing what he did in the 13-second game. How can you possibly discredit Josh Allen's performance in that game? It was one of the worst gaffes in the history of the league by the Bills at the end of that football game. If they lose 38-35, and he's got 275 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 125 passer rating, and 40 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Like, how can I look at this on Monday morning and say Josh Allen's legacy has been dramatically affected by this? However, if they lose 20-14, and it's in a fashion like the Philadelphia Eagles game was, where they're scoreless going into the fourth quarter and they make this heroic late game surge and they come up short, the legacy takes a massive hit. This is where the nuances are being lost in this argument or this narrative going around that it's Josh Allen's to win this year, and if he doesn't, it's going to be an epic failure. I think it very much depends on how it goes down. That no one's talking, no one's adding context to that narrative. Like, yes, I agree that the narrative that Mahomes, Lamar, and Burrow being out should then lead to you thinking it's Josh Allen's time. I get that. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with anybody really thinking that, to be honest, because that's what you would think. Yeah. Back in the day, if Peyton Manning was out and Ben Roethlisberger was out and the Ravens and their defense were out and Tom Brady's going in, who the hell would bet against Tom Brady? And you could flip that around. If all the other teams were out, if Peyton Manning's going in and the rest of them are out, who's going against those teams, right? So I get that. But what I have a problem with when it comes to this discussion is that no one's talking about how it could potentially go down and how that would then affect Josh Allen. And I think that matters a lot here because I do think that we're going to get the best version of him. But are we going to get the best version of the team collectively? And that's what's going to have to matter here because we've gotten the best version of Josh Allen in the postseason several times. And several times they've come up short. And unfortunately, he's had to bear the cross of that, right? Because that's the price
you pay.
Exactly right. I mean, when you're looking at being the franchise quarterback, you get all the glory if you win and you get all the blame if you lose. And now we turn the page on this narrative here to talking about what would result from going either way here. And we have a massive discussion circulating this organization right now because we have just seen a litany of head coaching positions open up, including the Baltimore Ravens, who I think many people would compare to Buffalo. They have been, unfortunately, at the wrong end of the Kansas City Chiefs, much like the Bills have. The Ravens have been on the wrong end of the Buffalo Bills twice. They've been this close as Buffalo has over the last half decade or so and have come up short every time, just like Buffalo has. Mm-hmm. John Harbaugh, the coach of that team, Rico, since 2008, he gets fired. I don't know if you heard, but Joe Brady was requested to interview for that head coaching job today. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot in play here when you're talking about narratives. Josh Allen's legacy, Sean McDermott, his legacy, Joe Brady, his future. This is as big of a game as a wild card game gets because not only are all these things on the table, but the Buffalo Bills have to deliver in a spot where they are the 6th seed going to the 3 seed. Has there ever been a situation where a 6 seed has had this much pressure to go the distance? And I think anybody saying that there's not pressure on the Bills is wrong. You might say that it's not fair that Josh Allen has this narrative out there that he has to go and win it because all those other quarterbacks are gone. Fine. But if you don't think the pressure's on the Bills, if you look at all the teams in the NFL right now, I think it's undisputable. The most pressure currently is on the Buffalo Bills, undeniably.
There's a lot of pressure on the Buffalo Bills, and as there should be. You know why? We've been talking about it all day. 17. You said it before. If 17 is not on that roster and there's somebody else, it's Mitch Trubisky. Ain't nobody looking at that team, right? You think anybody's looking at the Panthers? Anybody looking at the Panthers? I'm actually hoping that the Panthers come in and upset people. But here's the thing. We were talking about legacy. And you were talking about like, well, what if Josh Allen has an amazing game? It shouldn't ruin his legacy. Can I bring you back? You probably weren't born yet, but let me bring you back. Do you think Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas legacy has been hit hard after losing 4 straight Super Bowls? Hall of Fame.
So wait a minute. 3 of those 4, they got destroyed.
I don't care. Listen, we were talking about how great they are and how great Josh is. But if he loses this game, that's 0-5 on the road, brother. 0-5 on the road.
But you don't think it matters how it would go down?
It won't matter because what matters at the end is this. That's what matters at the end. He can go off for 400 yards. Listen, 13 seconds. Everybody talk about 13 seconds. They love to bring up 13 seconds. We still lost the game. And that's what hangs on Josh. And also, I don't want to bring that 90s because it's going to tarnish Josh if he loses one. Will it a little bit? No matter how you want to slice it, it's going to. The same way it tarnished Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, all those guys. It tarnished them. Great players. And we talk about how they blew out guys in the wild card games. They blew out guys in divisional. But once they got to Super Bowl, they didn't show up. Bro, I need you to show up. I need Josh to show up. Show up and drag your team. If you have to drag them, do what you have to do. His legacy is going to take it. He's got to win this one. And I'm not here for any excuses. I need him to. And I think he understands what's at stake here. I think he understands. Josh is a very intelligent dude. He understands. And this is why I love playoff football. It makes me nervous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and cap and act like I'm not, but I'm very confident that I think everybody understands what's at stake here. Josh understands. He's got to win. You don't think he's getting phone calls from his boy Pat? Maybe. Hey man, you got to do it. You got to roll through. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. You got to knock it down. Now, here's a question coming from, and I want you to touch on this real quick. This legacy talk that we're talking about. If the Bills win this whole thing, do you think people will say, "Hey, asterisks," right? Like the Lakers when the Lakers won the championship. Hey, that's a bubble championship. That don't count. How you feel about if he does win this whole thing? Are they going to say, yo, that's an asterisk, bro. Like, you didn't have this guy to go against. You can't have this guy. You didn't have this guy to go against. How do you look at it?
Well, Ravens and Chiefs fans will certainly tell you that. I've said this before. I wouldn't care if they had to play the YMCA flag football team en route to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't care if they had to play a list of Pop Warner teams so long as they got there. I really would not care. And if you think I give a damn about the path to the Super Bowl, not including Mahomes or Burrow or Lamar, should they get there, do you think I'll give a damn how they got there? Hell no. That's what I hate about this. You're looking at those teams being out. The Chiefs were eliminated mid-December. The Bengals had a brutal year. And Lamar did not play well all season long. And they only were able to come down to the last game to get into the playoffs because of how bad that division was. The Bills were the only team of those 4 powerhouses in the AFC that really had a good year throughout the duration of the season. Sure, there were ups and downs, and there were several downs, but the Bills in totality had a far better year than all of them. I don't look at those teams not being in as an asterisk on the Bills' journey to the Super Bowl should they get there. Look at the teams remaining. The Houston Texans have an all-time defense right now. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars right now are playing the best football in the NFL. They're on an 8-game win streak. The Houston Texans, as I just mentioned, they're on a 9-game win streak. The Denver Broncos have had a horseshoe up their ass the entire year. They've won just about every game they've been a part of, whether it's been this close against the Raiders or it's, fill in the blank. They've just found ways to get it done. The New England Patriots in a quote-unquote rebuild year or a game away from the 1 seed. Why are we discrediting all these other teams? The reason we're discrediting all these other teams is because the quarterbacks aren't that notable. The quarterbacks aren't ones that everybody looks at as the cream of the crop, right? You got a second-year Drake May. Trevor Lawrence, his second time ever back in the postseason. Justin Herbert has never won a postseason game. CJ Stroud, what's his legacy look like right now if his career were to, like, all these elements factor in, then you get to Josh Allen, and that's why people would be willing to do that, because he's the only guy remaining that you look at and think, well, of course he's got to go and win it because he's unarguably the best left. There's no asterisks on my side of things. This is the unfortunate reality of being a team that has been a powerhouse for the last several seasons. The Bills have the highest winning percentage amongst the last 5 years across all four major sports. The Bills have the best winning percentage in the last half decade across all four major sports. They don't have a title to show for it, but nobody has been better on a week-to-week basis than this team. They have been the best team for the last half decade. It's very unfortunate they don't have anything to show for, but they have been damn good for a very, very long time, right? So when we're looking at this particular situation, I understand why the heat is on them the way that it is.
Yeah.
I think that there's just so much more than the surface level of looking at it and saying, well, it's just Josh Allen, therefore he has to win, or this whole thing comes crumbling down, or the other quarterbacks aren't in, so if they do win. My point that I wanted to make here is that they're damned if they do or damned if they don't. If they lose to Jacksonville, they're going to get eviscerated. People are going to be calling for McDermott's head, Brady's head, Bean's head, Allen, right? And then if they win, it's the Jags. What the hell have the Jags done? Yeah, they had a good year, but who are the Jaguars? Who cares? What have they done, right? Like historically, who's Jacksonville, right? And then if you go on to beat Denver, Bo Nix, year two, like
you think they would do that? You think they would? They would actually play that narrative?
Yeah, absolutely, of course I do.
But these Denver Broncos are the number one seed. I don't think
nobody cares. Do you know how many people think that Denver is one of the more fraudulent one seeds in recent memory? I think a lot of people wholeheartedly believe that. The Bills are damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they lose, they're going to get absolutely destroyed. If they win, everybody's going to say what you just said and what Pierre brought up. Asterisk, 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 asterisk.
Yep. And so,
hey, give me the damn asterisk, Rico. I'll wear that asterisk on my forehead. I don't give a damn. Just go do it.
So you're saying it's a no matter how you want to slice it, it's a lose-lose. Whether if they beat, it's the Bills. They got Josh Allen. They got the rating MVP.
From a narrative perspective, absolutely yes. From a like a overarching surface level narrative perspective, absolutely. It is lose-lose for Buffalo, regardless of what happens here. Yes.
I'm going to disagree. I don't want to look at it as a lose-lose because I don't want to say everyone, but I'm going to just say it for the sake of saying it. He doesn't have, all I've heard was he doesn't have the same roster he did before. The defense is not as strong, and he doesn't have the receivers to do so, and et cetera. So they're right where they're supposed to be based on what people have been talking about. This defense on its way. They're the worst team in defending the run. They're dead last, or they're near the bottom. So if he does go and do that, I don't think people are going to be like, well, they're supposed. I don't think that people don't look at the Bills as this powerhouse. They look at Josh as being who he is, but I don't think they look at this Bills team as being a powerhouse. So I don't think they're going to say, well, if they beat the Jaguars, well, it's the Jaguars. No, I think if they beat the Jaguars, which people have been pumping up like crazy, they'll be like, yo, watch out for these Bills. Now,
you think the majority of people are going to be impressed by Buffalo if they beat Jacksonville?
Because right now they're gassing Jacksonville right now hard. They're gassing them. Are you kidding me? Oh, they got Brian Thomas Jr. Then they brought in Myers. Then they have freaking Parker Washington that's killing the game. They got Brenton Strange that's killing the game right now, right? Josh Allen Hines, right? They got 22 interceptions all year, bro. They've been glazing these Jacksonville Jaguars. So if the Bills come out and whoop them, which I think they're going to do, bro, they're going to say impressive win, Buffalo. Let's see it, because now you have 17-17. Playoff 17 is here. We already know the statistics. The statistics tell you. Statistically, he's one of the best, if not the best ever, statistically, when it comes to playoff Josh. So if he comes in and takes care of the Jaguars, kudos to you. Keep it rolling now. This is the reigning MVP. He won the MVP last year. You know what the MVP is? Valuable, most valuable player. So show us how valuable you are. Just several weeks ago, he was in conversation for being in the MVP talk. Show me the MVP. We know you're good enough. We know you're fantastic. Show us. Bring your team with you. So if he beats the Jaguars, they're not going to be like, oh, I beat the Jaguars. No, if he comes in and beats the Jaguars, let's go. If he comes in and beats the Patriots, let's roll. He comes in and beats the Denver Broncos.
Nobody's going to care about that either.
Bro, they are going to do it. Why? Because it's all on the road. They're going to say he doesn't have the home field advantage. He's doing everything from the road. That's impressive alone. No,
you don't have to sell me on that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But you really think
every one of these suckers that are saying
you are.
If they say, "Oh, we it's a lose-lose," now I don't believe that's a lose-lose. Winning in this league is extremely difficult, and to do it on the road, like the 2010, I don't know my dates. The 2010 Packers all on the road, the 05 Steelers all on the road with Roethlisberger, the 2020 Bucks on the road with Tom Brady. Fam, I don't want to hear any of that stuff, bro. Get the job done. It's going to be just as impressive. It was impressive for Tom Brady. It was impressive for Roethlisberger. It was impressive for Aaron Rodgers. Come on now.
Once again, your take requires deeper analysis, and this is where I think that I think you're overlooking the fact that most people just look at everything at a surface level. That's what I was just talking about with the quarterback debate. Say if the Bills won this weekend,
sure,
and then they went and lost to Houston,
sure,
nobody's going to think of people on a surface level aren't going to say, "Well, yeah, I'm not shocked. Houston's got the best defense in the league by a mile. We saw what they did the last time the Bills played them." People are going to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe Josh Allen lost to C.J. Stroud. How the hell do you lose to C.J. Stroud?" That's what I'm talking about here. There's not people like you and I, everybody watching, people who are really, really into it, right? You'll be able to look at it and be like, Josh Allen had 0.5 seconds to throw the entire game. He was on his back the entire game, and they still had a chance to win, and they couldn't find a way to win because they couldn't overcome the best defense in the league, right? That would be the takeaway if you actually know what happened.
Right.
It's like back to the 13-second game, where I still hear people saying, Josh Allen hasn't been good enough to beat the Chiefs. How can you watch that football game and that be your primary takeaway?
It's unreal.
How can you? So this is what I'm getting at, where I look at what we're talking about now, and we're talking about all the things you're saying are correct. I've seen a ton of people say Jacksonville is going to roll Buffalo.
Yeah,
it's been all over my Twitter feed. But watch what happens. If the Bills beat the Jags all of a sudden, well, what the Jags did the last 2 months, was it really that impressive? They beat a banged-up Indy team twice. They beat the Titans twice. Trevor Lawrence has only been to the playoffs one other time. Yeah, they got good wide receivers, but nobody's a real household name, right? They don't have a Puka or a JSN or a Jamar Chase. They're good, but they're not great. This is what I'm getting at. And it's because the Bills have been what they have been for so long, Rico, that the goalposts will be continuously moved back. People like you and I and all of us, we don't care. We're simply talking about what's going to be discussed, and I think it's going to be more of that than it's going to be to put a bow on it. If the Bills' run to the Super Bowl, Rico, is beating Jacksonville, Houston, and New England, I don't think anybody's going to look back on this and give Josh Allen this overwhelming amount of credit, regardless if it's on the road. I think more people are going to say, yeah, well, of course they did. They should have. Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen weren't in it.
They're going to give him all the credit. Are you kidding me? They're going to give him extreme, because he's doing it with what they've been saying since last year. He's doing it with very little.
Yeah, but watch what they'll say after that. They'll say, well, Josh Allen's the MVP. James Cook won the rushing title. They have the best offensive line in the league, and they have the best pass defense in the league.
That's where it stops. Rushing title, Josh was the reigning MVP, solid O-line. That's where it stops.
I think you are underestimating people's willingness to dig deep to try to find a way to discredit these Buffalo Bills.
I'm not doubting that they will. But the true people looking at it for what it is will say, bro, the Bills taking down the Jaguars. If they face the Texans, they take down the Texans, especially how the Texans have made them look the last 2 weeks. Impressive. What a comeback victory for Josh. Josh redeems himself up against the Texans. Bro, I don't think they're going to poo-poo. I think they're going to be picking Josh up and saying, oh, this guy he's put the cape on. He's in the zone. I just don't see it the other way. But listen, people surprise us every time. People surprise us every time.
See, but that's the thing. This would not surprise me in the slightest. In fact, it'll actually infuriate the hell out of me, because we won't even be able to enjoy it, because that's all you'll be hearing. I mean, think about it like this. The fact that Pierre even had to ask that question, Rico, just goes to show you that narrative's already being set up. It's already being put in place so that if it goes one of two ways, you already have your talking points. If Josh Allen loses, massive, massive blow to his legacy. If he wins, who cares? Asterisk, the other three quarterbacks weren't involved.
Let me ask you a question. If Trevor Lawrence takes down the big bad Bills, are they propping up Trevor Lawrence, or are they saying, yeah, but the Bills weren't the same team, man? They weren't that great. Like,
oh, no, that's
supposed to win this game. Or are they going to prop Trevor Lawrence, saying he took down Josh Allen, the big great, the great white hype?
That's exactly what it'll be. You think anybody's going to look at that on Monday and say, well, I'm not surprised here. Jacksonville just a better team. Next topic. They're going to be like, Trevor Lawrence has arrived. Trevor Lawrence is finally what he was supposed to be when he was drafted out of Clemson. Trevor Lawrence is finally going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. That is going to be the narrative. 110%. 110%.
You're in. And here's the thing: we know the media game, right? We know we follow the same media heads, and they already have their things sliced out. Okay, what do we say when this team wins? What do we say when that team wins? And I think you're absolutely right. They're going to praise Trevor Lawrence for getting, over Josh Allen, but I don't think they're going to praise him as much as I can't believe he did. I think they're going to be like, this was supposed to happen. They've been great all year. They've had an 8-game win streak. They've beaten the Niners. They've beaten the blah 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 blah. I don't think it's going to be as big a deal. They're just going to look at the Bills like, yo, it just wasn't the year for the Bills, man. You saw they're going to limp into the playoffs. They beat the Jets. They only had 2 wins against winning teams. They're going to say all those things. So I don't think they're going to prop up the Jags like I think you think they will. I think it's going to be, hey, if the Jags win handedly, they're supposed to happen. Now, what they'll then talk about, in which we can kind of put a bow on it like this, what they'll then talk about if the Bills do fall to the Jags is all the changes that they will force upon what should happen. Oh, should we be looking at all these head coaching changes? Should McDermott be on this hot seat? What about Brandon Beane? What do they do with this roster? Do we flip this roster? There's going to be a whole lot of that conversation. I'm not ready for that just yet because I feel really good about these Bills. But man, what a fascinating conversation, because this could go, like you said, either or. But I think we have confidence that this team is going to show up. I think I'm a little more confident than you are. I don't know where it's come, but I just feel good about it. And if you watch a few more games and kind of dive in, I think you might be joining me and Pierre and be like, yo, man, I think we got this, baby. Or you might come away and say, we're cooked. Who knows?
Well, there's the thing. They're not cooked. Like, there's no way that, like, win or lose, this game to me is not going beyond a 6 to 7 point margin. So they're definitely no one's cooked.
Okay.
In my opinion, I will be stunned either way. If the Bills won 30-10, I would be absolutely mind blown. If the Jags won the same way, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I feel good about this one, man. I do. I feel like this is going to be.
But you feel good, like that kind of good, like multiple double-digit win.
No, but I think it's going to be much. I think it's the margin will be the 1 point game. I think it's going to. I'm not ready for goal score yet, but I think it's going to be This was a not dominating. I don't want to use the word dominating, but this was a good win for the Bills. I'll just use that for now. I think James Cook is going to be heavily featured because they're talking about this defense is such a great run defense, X, Y, Z. Bro, we're about to duel your ass all the way to the end zone. James Cook is different. His patience, his ability to see things is going to open these guys up, and they're not going to know what to do. And then Josh shows up. Kincaid shows up, and then we start rolling, man. I feel good because it's going to start with the run game. It's going to start with the run game. I just feel it, man. Let's go.
What's more likely in your opinion? The Bills at any point in the game are down by double digits, or the Bills do not trail the entire game?
Ooh. I got to stick to what I was saying. And the Bills do. That's tough to say, but I'll say the Bills do not trail based on what you've given me. The Bills do not trail. Because what have we been lacking this year? We've been lacking of like, we get these slow starts and we turn things on in the second half. We make great adjustments in the second half. And might I add, the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half of games, they're wishy-washy. They've given some games up in the fourth quarter this year. So if we can literally get that start that we need and get going, and we may not relinquish it, because this defense, believe it or not, has been better than people want to give them credit for these last 8 weeks. We've definitely improved defensively, and the defense has been giving the ball back to the Bills. They have been. Is this documented? You've seen it, right? These comeback victories the Bengals, go to the Bengals game, for crying out loud. The Patriots game, right? And these are high-powered offenses that we were able to come back and do what they do. But who helped us? Defense. Now, the big question mark is going to be, does the defense show up this playoffs? That's the big one, right? We can talk about the offense and Josh all we want. At the end of the day, you bring up the 13 seconds, allowing Tyreek Hill to go up the sideline and give the peace sign. Can't have that happen. Allowing a back shoulder catch to Travis Kelce. Can't have that happen, right? So this defense led by Babbage and McDermott, that's going to be a big question going into this game. But would it surprise me, to answer your question, if we go up a score and never relinquish it and keep it? It would not surprise me one bit. If we get blown out, I'll be very surprised by getting blown out. We're not a team that typically gets blown out that way. So let's wait for this game to happen.
A blowout will usher in the conversation you were alluding to earlier, where there could be a shuffling of the deck somewhere.
Justified?
Depends on what that game looks like. But yeah. I do think if they lose, I do think somebody will pay the price for it. Who that is, I don't know. In all likelihood, if I had to make a guess, it would be Joe Brady. Because I do think if they lose, that would mean the offense didn't. Yes. I don't see.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
I have a lot of respect for Mike Florio. I love him. I think he's great. I think he's one of the last bastions of journalism remaining in this sport. Like, to the point where nowadays everything is just tweets and this and that.
Of course.
He does a hell of a job covering the league, and he's got a lot of people who are they're very inflammatory when it comes to stuff that he says. And I think it's because he'll say stuff that ruffles feathers because they don't want to hear the truth. Right. So I have a lot of respect for what he says and what he reports. And he has a
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin. And I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
Studies show that 100% of everybody in the world wants to curl up indoors and do nothing because it's so darn cold out there. That's why many people are turning to Bombas, whose pillowy plush slippers and warm merino wool socks have been said to be the most comfortable in the history of feet. Bombas products have been found to boost coziness by up to 1,000,000%. Okay, enough fake statistics, but could Bombas socks and slippers really be the cure? Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
Alluded multiple times to the fact that there are people in the know, whatever that means. And to me, that means he knows people, credible people, that at least have some read on the fact that the Bills are monitoring this game in regard to Sean McDermott's future.
Really?
Now, whether that comes to fruition or not is one thing. But I got to tell you, I am a bit surprised by the fact that there's talks about this game being monitored as the barometer that measures whether or not Sean McDermott continues with Buffalo or leaves Buffalo. And because I didn't think that was going to be question unless they lost, like I was just talking about, in a way that would just absolutely blow my mind. Like if they lost 35-10 and they didn't get off the bus, then okay, I think everybody would probably sit there and say, all right, we're nearly a decade in here. We're on a downward trend. We just got rolled here. Like we got to look at this. It would be fair.
Absolutely be fair for sure. Because if the expectations were extremely high going into the season, obviously injuries happen, but injuries happen to everybody. Look at the freaking Niners. The Niners overcame the boatload, a litany of injuries, and look where they're at right now. So,
and that's why Robert Saleh, by the way, all of a sudden back into the head coach conversation, right? Because of what he's done with that defense. But Rico, if the Bills lose this game 27-24 on a Cam Little 65-yard field goal at the end, I just don't see how on Monday morning firing McDermott would be the answer.
I would agree. And I think, and so many people have talked about this, saying, listen, the Ravens letting go of Jim Harbaugh was an awful mistake. And they don't think that was the right move. But some folks also understand maybe time. He's been there 18 years. Maybe the message is stale, whatever the case may be, right? They'll get another coach, but will the coach be as good as John Harbaugh for what he's done for the Ravens? And I say the same thing for the Bills. Maybe the Bills might be in a different set of situations here, but move on from McDermott, which is one of the better coaches in this game right now, and go and get who? Are they going to be better? And that's the chance you're going to take. Some teams have taken the chance and it's worked out well, i.e. the Philadelphia Eagles. When they move on from Andy Reid, they bring in Peterson, championship. Andy Reid goes to Kansas City, championship. So you've seen that transition happen. But then you've seen some teams where they moved on from a coach and they may have not recovered. And maybe does that happen to the Bills? I just can't see it. And here's the thing. We've talked about this before. This dynamic that they have with Pegula, where they each separately report to Pegula. I mean, at the end of the day, the decision maker has to become the Pegulas. So if it comes down to a decision you have to make, do you let them both go because they're a package, or are you letting one go? I mean, Bean was brought in after McDermott, so it's such a weird dynamic with how the structure of power and how it goes on and who reports to who. So if Pegula were to make a decision, who do you move on from first? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just hope that it doesn't. We win the championship and we're not even having this conversation. However, we have to live in the reality that there's a chance that it may not.
I don't want to talk about this anymore because I want to talk about the game, but I'll just say this.
Talk to me.
On what planet does firing McDermott Monday just to hire John Harbaugh that same week make any sense to anybody?
It doesn't.
I have seen this take thrown around so much that it's made my head spin around like a dreidel. I, for the life of me, cannot comprehend that mentality. If the Bills were to fire Sean McDermott just to hire John Harbaugh, I will come on here and be as irate as you've ever seen me. I will absolutely explode. Because that would be the most lateral, nonsensical move I've ever seen. It would make zero sense, and in my opinion, it would set this franchise back. It would not propel them forward. It would set them backward. Same can be said with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, you're going to hire this old school, old age, 20 years into their career guy with a similar resume to Sean McDermott, right, where you've had a lot of success, but you haven't gotten over the hump as of late. And what planet does that make? Everybody drills Sean McDermott for one thing, and that's the inability to beat the Kansas City Chiefs when it matters most. Well, guess who else hasn't been able to do that? Baltimore. But beyond that, guess who stood in the way of Baltimore before they even had the chance to go and get eliminated by Kansas City? Buffalo, twice. So why the hell would you hire the guy who lost to the other guy in which you just fired twice in the biggest moment? Because if that's what matters most, then how the hell are you justifying hiring John Harbaugh, who lost to Sean McDermott twice in the postseason? Everybody wants to fire Sean McDermott for one main reason, and that's the inability to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So you then wanting to hire John Harbaugh, who has an inability to beat the Buffalo Bills, to replace Sean McDermott is one of the most idiotic things I've ever heard in my life.
And I'm gonna piggyback off of that. You want to know the record between when these guys started in 2018? I'm gonna use 2018 because that's when Lamar came into the league and Josh came into the league. Do you want to know what the record is between both these coaches? 105-59. That is Sean McDermott. The great John Harbaugh that you want to potentially swap and bring him as a coach, he's 103 and 62. It just would not make any sense to go that route. I'm with you. I'll be just as irate. If you were ever to move on from McDermott, you do not go get John Harbaugh. Not because he's not a good coach, because it just wouldn't make any sense. Go and get someone that would actually make a bigger difference for this squad. Because like you said, who's been in the way for the Baltimore Ravens of ever excelling and moving forward? That's right, Sean McDermott. So if you were to make that move, it would make no sense. He needs to go elsewhere. I'm with you. Honest to goodness.
I mean, we got Walt coming in. Like, he's defending this. Like, this exists out here. This exists out here. Because John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl 15 years ago. He's a better hire today, apparently.
Let me see. He would say, I respect your opinion, but I feel like you're being disingenuous. Are you really putting the Ravens turning over the ball on offense against the Bills and the Chiefs in the postseason on a Harbaugh? Do you think that's what Walt?
Derrick Henry, I'll just go to Sunday night as an example. With the rushing title and the division title and a playoff spot on the line, or you go home. Derrick Henry has 110 plus yards at half, and he finished with 126. They didn't give him the ball in the second half, and they lost. Who's that on? That's not on turning the ball over. That's happened numerous times.
Multiple.
The reason John Harbaugh was just fired, I understand what you're saying, Walt. Lamar has certainly played a factor in this. I think he's getting off a little easy here, to be honest with you. I think Lamar's getting off a little easy here. But how is it, I'll ask you this, how are the Bills improving by hiring John Harbaugh? How are they improving? How are they moving forward? How are they changing?
But he won a Super Bowl back in 2005.
He won a Super Bowl with one of the league's all-time best defenses, in which the Bills do not have. John Harbaugh does not also have an identity in terms of one side of the ball or the other. That means that you're going to continuously keep cycling through coordinators. If Joe Brady gets hired by, say, the Ravens, how hilarious would that be?
Hilarious.
And you're going to get a new OC, Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, fill in the name, whoever. Then when they do really well again, because they have Josh Allen, they leave. They get hired by somebody else. And the list goes on and on. In my opinion, if the Bills were to ever move off of Sean McDermott, they have got to hire an offensive head coach because they haven't had one. And then you got to see what that looks like. And I think you have to hire one of these guys that are changing the game, like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson. You don't hire the guy whose prime was back in 2008. That's just how I see it.
I'm with you. You're on it, and I'm with you on that. And if the Bills were, even if where can I put this way? Some might say Harbaugh, I wouldn't say lost the feel for the team, but like it was probably getting stale, right? They weren't moving forward. They keep losing in the same fashion every time. Somebody making a blunder, but a lot of times they're saying decision making to not run Derrick Henry and prefer to do all these other things. You're the leader of this team. That's why McDermott used to back in the day would get killed for. Why are you doing this? Now he's more aggressive. He lets the thing right. He lets trust his offense. He trusts Josh to make the right decisions and so on and so forth. So with Harbaugh, to have him come on and swap for I would hate that. And then you got to bring in a new D coordinator. You got a new staffing, same stale. Nah, bro.
Well, hey, guess what?
Won't
have to worry about any of this. You win on Sunday. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Correct. For a minute there, I thought you were going to say you won't have to worry about that because John Harbaugh just got hired by.
I wouldn't even give this a piece of my mind if I hadn't seen it so much. Like, I wouldn't even have made the correlation until I saw it. That's why we're talking about it.
Facts.
I wouldn't have come on here and say, hey, wait a minute, don't think about Harbaugh. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm seeing boatloads of people. Well, let's monitor that Jacksonville game. Because if things go south, we could go hire the guy that's been at the wrong hand of 2 playoff losses to the guy you're firing. You know, we could go hire the guy that the organization that's been right alongside you for the last half decade in terms of success just fired. Now you're going to take him in. What?
And hear me out, by the way. According to Tony Grossi, the requirements for John Harbaugh, what he would need a team. Did you see that? What he would need a team to pay him and have him be your head coach. You got to pay him $20 million a year. He's telling you that my resume speaks for itself. 18 years in the game with the Ravens. I've got a championship under my belt, and I know how to develop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? $20 million a year. He wants $10 million for his staff budget. So he wants to go out and get the best coordinators if he can. Sure. He's not done there. Then he says he wants total authority over the roster. Oh, by the way, I want to hire my own GM. By the way, Bean, you're gone. You bring Harbaugh in, he's cleaning house and Bean's gone. So now you got to.
And not only is he gone, but John Harbaugh gets to dictate the direction in which the replacement is.
There you go.
For Brandon Bean. You want to know why he has those demands? And I don't blame him. Because he's at a point in his career, Rico, where if he retired, how bad of a look is that on John Harbaugh? What a great career he had. Go kick your feet up. What are you, 60-something years old? Super Bowl victory. You had an incredible run with some great teams. You go and retire right now, you can ride off into the sunset, and you'll be remembered as a great head coach. The reason I would have those requirements is because you know what? You want to know what? If the Giants called you up or the Browns called you up, yeah, you're giving me $20 million to let me do what I want because you guys can't do anything right the last decade and a half, 2 decades. So you're going to pay me and you're going to let me do it on my terms or else I'm retirement. I don't blame them. But where I would blame the Bills would be signing up for something as ludicrous as that, because that would make absolutely zero sense. If you thought it made sense without the requirements, it makes 10 times less sense with the requirements.
Hey, what does it say about this window conversation with Josh Allen going back against this preview of this game coming up against the Jaguars? And I asked that question is because a lot of if he comes in and obviously we've talked about it, doesn't perform the way he's supposed to be. Is that this window business? Is this closed? Is it one of those situations where we have to have that conversation, or are you with me in terms of it's never closed? But some folks are saying, bro, he may be a talent, but the window to win a championship with this roster and Josh getting older and this whole regime, it's not there. You gotta almost clean house a little bit to reopen this window. What are your thoughts on this window conversation? And the closer we get to playoffs and the closer we get to this game, and if they lose, that conversation is going to just be on fire. This window conversation, wide open still?
Until I watch Josh Allen over a consistent period of time, how do I want to put this? Until I get to a point where I've watched Josh Allen over weeks at a time, and I sit there and say, oh boy, oh man, I think the best is behind him, then the window's open. Is it as open as it once was? No.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean a breeze still can't whip through, right? I mean, do you have the sliding glass door open right now, Rico? Probably not. But the window is open nonetheless. And if it's snowing outside, whether you got the sliding glass door open or the window open, it's going to be cold in that room, isn't it? And I think with Josh Allen around in his prime, that room's going to remain cold. The thing of it is, though, is that the window is, of course, year after year closing ever slightly. That is undeniable because time is undefeated. So if you think it's as open as it once was, it's not. And if you think that it's not closing slightly each and every year, you're wrong. But as of right now, and over the next 3 to 4 years minimum, in my opinion, the window is open. The question is, are you going to be able to capitalize on it? And that's why people are so steadfast on putting all the pressure on the Bills this season, because they understand that. I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, we've seen what's happened to the greats. I mean, Josh Allen, if we're talking about a body type and a play style, who's he most similar to? Big Ben.
Yep.
Cam Newton. Now
yep.
he's like if Cam Newton, he's like if you took Cam Newton and then put him in the Madden creative player and just upped all the attributes.
Yep.
It's not the direct comparison, but the argument here is that the way Josh Allen plays, one of the most physical quarterbacks I've ever seen. There's a reason why when we talk about him being injured, we sit here and we're like, I don't really know what's wrong with him, because the guy is made of steel. He has the longest consecutive start streak going right now, as we all know. Eventually, when you play like that, there's going to be deterioration. So this idea that this is going to be like this forever, and that's what I'm the most cognizant of, Rico. It's not that I think the window is closed right now. It's that I know that the closing of the window is coming. And This is why I want to take advantage of it as badly as I do. Because one of the biggest nightmares I have is the Bills going through this period with nothing to show for it other than a Josh Allen MVP. And then they go right back into the mediocre to bottom third of the league conversation for the next decade plus. Because it's more likely than not that when Josh Allen's done, the Bills will be closer to the middle or bottom of the pack than they will be to where they are right now. Is that not fair to say? When Josh Allen leaves, will the Bills not be closer to the middle or bottom of the league than they will be to where they are right now?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that's coming.
Yep.
Like, it's like if you get a genie and he gives you a couple of wishes, you better capitalize on those wishes, right? The Bills only have a couple more wishes left. That's just the way I see it. And when the genie gets put back in that box, Rico, you're going to be wishing you had more wishes. You're going to be wishing that guy was out here doing what you hoped you had done with the previous wishes, right? I'm just saying right now, the window is open. But of course, every single year that goes by, and we've already seen 8 fly by, it's going to close ever slightly. And then, of course, it's going to get to a point where it's slammed shut. And you're going to look back on this and you're going to say, man, is this not one of the biggest missed opportunities in sports history?
Damn, sports history? Sheesh. I love when you go that route.
Well, I think about it like this, though, Rico. You're going to look back at Josh Allen. He's going to be thought of as one of the best quarterbacks to play. How could you not look back and also say, we've had this conversation before. It's the same thing with Dan Marino. When you think Dan Marino, you think of the best player to never win one. That's the conversation Josh Allen will be in.
Right. But then I like to look at it this way, right? When you look at guys like Peyton Manning, Manning didn't win his when he was 24. He didn't win his when he was 27. He won his when he was 30. So sometimes you just need to season yourself before you get there. Now, I'm not saying Josh is young and he's got a lot of time. You don't know. You're on borrowed time. You don't know when it's over and when it's not, right? John Elway didn't win his until he was 37, right? So there's I'm not saying there's a lot of time, but I think this window is still open because when you have a quality player, an elite player like Josh, you're going to, there's cycles. And right now we're in a cycle where we have to pay that brother and we have to pay a lot of people. And right now we don't have a lot in the bank. We tried building around him, but we built on the defensive side. I think McDermott's getting smarter enough, or at least Bean is, to learn, okay, now we got to build around this guy. We got to start building around Josh, because if we give him the weapons that he needs, we will have success. So I'm looking at Peyton Manning and John Elway saying, it's not over, right? We still got time. But then it reminds me of guys like Phillip Rivers. Great success with his team, but can never get one, right? Poor Marino, talented as ever, couldn't just get over the hump, right? I just need to see Josh keep this window open, and the team around him and the GM and coach keep this guy preserved, build around this guy so the window can remain open. But I'm with you. The window is wide open. I think the window's still wide open when you have a guy like that. But boy, oh boy, it can close real quick if we don't take care of what we're supposed to take care of. So that's the way I look at it here. Now, I do have a question for you. Let's go back to this game, okay? You've mentioned this player multiple times to me, Parker Washington of the Jaguars. And I got to thinking, is there a matchup when you're looking at the way they run the football, the way they pass the football? What concerns you going into this game in terms of maybe personnel, what you like, what you don't like going into this game? Because I have something that's standing out to me, and it's sticking like a sore thumb. But I wanted to get your opinion on that, because Parker Washington is definitely on my mind here.
I think it's the fact that the everybody eats mantra that the Bills think that they have, the Jacksonville Jaguars actually have that. Because they have 3 wide receivers that aren't a wide receiver one, but they're all actually eating, and they're all actually pretty damn good. Parker Washington, about 100 yards shy of 1,000-yard year. He's been on fire recently. Like, if you tune in, like, he's Trevor Lawrence go-to guy. Then you have Brian Thomas Jr. Jacoby Myers has been nothing but phenomenal for them since being acquired at the trade deadline. They gave him an extension. He had nearly 500 yards in half a season with Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. And then you got Brenton Strange, who I think is an underrated tight end. He's pretty good. He had a pretty damn good year. Mm-hmm. And their run offense isn't great. Travis Etienne only had 2 100-yard games all year, but he still had an 1,100-yard year. He has consistent impact on the game. It's not like he overtakes it, like maybe Cook has throughout the year here, or Derrick Henry's capable of, or Christian McCaffrey. No, but good enough. A run game that you have to respect, you can't overlook. And then Trevor Lawrence, over the last month and a half here, he's playing the best football of his career. Like I mentioned earlier, he's got 1 interception in his last 6 games. If you combine the rushing touchdowns, I believe it's a 19-1 touchdown to interception ratio over his last 6 games or so. He's been phenomenal. And then Liam Cohen just has these guys playing with confidence. I haven't seen this Jacksonville team really in my lifetime play with this much confidence or this much swagger, right? And then obviously the run defense being number 1 overall. I don't know if they've been tested the way that the Bills are going to be capable of testing them. Because if you're going to say the Jags have the number 1 run D and that's going to be what crushes the Bills, well, you got to look at it from the Jacksonville side of things. Is their fan base now looking at it saying, yeah, we have the number one run D, but they have the number one run offense. They're running it for like 160 yards a game. So
Absolutely.
You have to look at it both ways.
Yep.
But the one thing that you mentioned is there a positional group? I think it's one of the more underrated wide receiver rooms in the league, because there's not one guy that's going to be on a commercial, or there's not going to be one guy that you're going to take in the first round of the fantasy draft. But they have 3 guys that you can go to on any given down that are reliable, and that is consistently produced for this team all year long. They average about 28 points a game, which is top 10. And the other thing, too, that you have to consider when we talk about the Bills and their slow starts, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the 4th highest scoring team in the first half. They average over 14 points per first half. So are they going to be able to get that unit going? And is that going to be able to correlate into first half points? And if so, the Bills cannot have the trend that has unfortunately been biting them all year long to rear its ugly head again this upcoming weekend. One positional group that I look at, Rico, it would be the wide receiver group, because I do think that they have plenty of outlets to go there. And I think that might be an underrated element, because you don't look at them and think, they're a powerhouse there. They're not, but they're good consistently throughout.
I'm gonna agree with you wholeheartedly. It's the receiver room, but more specifically, I don't necessarily believe that this player has had his best year, and I think this is going to be something that, if I'm looking at the film, I'm looking at the slot corner, and I'm looking to try to exploit as much as we can. Thank goodness that we are a zone-based defense, but I'm looking at Taron Johnson, because Taron Johnson hasn't had his greatest year, and I always worry when he's in coverage. And when you have a guy that's explosive as Parker Washington, you got Jacoby Myers on the outside, you got TBJ on the other side, that middle of the defense, we are going to have to make sure that we understand where Parker is, and to not have him make big plays, because he's one of those catch and yak guys. He's a yak guy. So we got to make sure that we bottle him up, not allow him to go off. And that's the way I'm looking at this. Taron Johnson I've seen him this year just struggle. I'm hoping that he gets on top of his game and he's ready to go, because these guys are going to give us fits. Another thing that I think that could be advantageous to us, Josh Allen has taken 40 sacks. Everybody's talking about how many sacks Josh Allen taking. Hey, he's taking 40 sacks this year. It's crazy. He went from taking 14 sacks last year to 40. Statistics say that of the 40, 21 of them are his fault. I looked at who's sacked just as much as he is. Bro, that's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is sacked just as much as Josh Allen. So there is a weakness in that O-line. That O-line isn't as great as people might think they are. So we have an ability to turn them into the second and longs and third and longs, and then allow guys to kind of move him off his spot and have him have to throw for the sticks. So this is where I'm looking to see where Sean McDermott can get opportunistic and make, who was it? Dan Orlovsky was talking about how defensively in the second half, they've been fantastic. They make great adjustments. So 14 points in the first half. They're one of the best teams scoring in the first half. Well, guess who's one of the best teams in defending in the second half? That's the Bills. So there's a lot of matchups I'm looking for, is getting after the quarterback. I know our pass rushing hasn't been the greatest. However, we can make some fits. This guy's been sacked 40 times. We can get after him. And if we can get him into long, second and long and third and long, bro, we have an opportunity to go into Duval, handle business, and get the heck out of Dodge. This is going to be a huge game. Looking forward to it.
I absolutely can't wait. I'm beyond stoked. Thank God it's not tomorrow. We get a little bit of an appetizer in. We get an appetizer tonight. Kirk Cignetti is walking out of the locker room as we speak, where his Indiana Hoosiers get set to take on the Ducks. Winner plays the Miami Hurricanes. Michael Irvin, I pray that he survives. How, like, dude,
he's wild, boy.
I don't know if his heart, my man, what I wouldn't give to be in that type of shape ever, much less at his age. I mean, he's having the time of his life right now. He's having more fun than when the Cowboys were rolling back in his prime. It's unbelievable. So we got this, and then tomorrow, got a nice little palate cleanser as well before we get into Buffalo Bills single elimination football. Do you find any interest in that Panthers-Rams game, or do you think that's a Rams walk?
I do find that, because right now everybody's overlooking the Panthers, and their Panthers are terrible. No, the Panthers have surprisingly very good cornerbacks. They're solid at the cornerback position, although we spanked them, but we ran the football all over them. So should the Rams come in and handle business? They should, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as people think it's going to be. the last time these guys faced, you know who came out and made big plays? Bryce Young. Bryce Young made clutch plays in that game. So, and they're hosting this. Cam Newton's coming out there to beat that drum. Bro, this might be a big time upset. If they can do it twice, that'd be great. But if we're looking at this the way we should be, and we're looking at the Rams as being a Super Bowl contender, the Panthers should get their asses booked. But there's just that chance because they've beaten them before. So matchup wise, it's possible. So I'll defer to you. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's just a blowout? Why are we paying attention to this game, or is there some intrigue, especially because they've lost to this team before?
I think the Rams beat them by 20.
It's a beatdown.
Oh yeah, I think they destroy them.
So what happened the first time?
You go back and watch that game. It was raining sideways, and Bryce Young completed 2 or 3 of the best passes of his entire career. They couldn't get into the red zone, but the majority of their points came off of a couple of bombs that I've never seen Bryce Young throw before, and I've never seen him throw since. Also, Matt Stafford had 2 bad picks in that game. I don't imagine we see that again.
And he'll
like Bryce
picks.
Young versus Matt Stafford in the playoffs, like that's you want to talk about Allen compared to Lawrence, like that's a legit 6-7 right there. That's a crazy one. Now Saturday night, the oldest rivalry in sports. I'm not a believer in the Packers right now. They've had a bad last month. I like the Bears in that game.
I mean, divisional games are always tough. They're always tough. I don't like it's so hard to tell with that one. But I think I'm with you. Year. I think I do like the Bears. It would be a disappointment if the Bears came in and just poop the bed. Yeah. I think they're red hot. Caleb Williams is playing some good ball. Ben Johnson's coaching the heck out of that team. He's giving them confidence through the roof. So I think I'm with you with that. Bears over Packers. Rams should beat the Panthers. It should be an easy Saturday, call it a day. But boy, oh boy, you know how playoffs can be. It's a very different dynamic. But come Sunday, boy, it's gonna be something.
What did you make of your boy Mike McDaniel getting canned?
Listen, owner saw someone he liked because, to my knowledge, the question is who. Who do you think is going to, and you're confident enough to move on from McDaniel and say, yo, I want that. I want an opportunity for that guy. Is it Harbaugh? You think Harbaugh is going to want to come to coach Tua?
Tua ain't going to be there. Shout out Magic Johnson.
Yes. Magic Johnson in the house right now. He certainly will not be there if that's the case. But I mean,
I want Tua to be a Jet so bad. I think that would be. It might be the funniest thing that's ever happened in the sport.
No, that's not gonna happen.
No, it's not. Kyler Murray is gonna be a Jet.
Who do these guys want? Who do the Miami Dolphins absolutely want if they're confident enough to move on from McDaniel?
I could see Kevin Stefanski taking that job, and I could see them wanting him.
Stefanski, huh?
I feel like you got to get a college. I feel like you got to get more of a hard-nosed guy in there, because the reason McDaniel got let loose is because he was too loose. He just wasn't the leader of men I think that team needed, especially in that city.
Do you think he's too loose for McDermott?
Not at OC. Well, I was talking to my dad about this. I would love the hire at OC, but then that was my question. I said, I wonder how he and McDermott would get along. Because that doesn't seem like McDermott's vibe. I mean, McDaniel's like a. I mean, he seems like a cool guy. I can't lie. I like to hang out with Mike McDaniel, but I don't know if McDermott would love that.
They make it very clear. I want to run that football, and I'm going to get a receiver for my Josh Allen. I want you to do what you got to do. You know what kind of brand I'm looking for. You've been facing me the last 2 years. You know what I like to do. Let's roll. Yo, McDaniel's the OC, branching off of Shanahan. Shoot, I'll take that all day if it's possible. Brady gone. I don't know where Brady's going to go, but I'm sure he'll get a spot. But
you really think he's a head coach next year?
Brady? Hell no, I don't think he's a head coach. Heck no.
Oh, I thought that's what you were just saying.
No, I don't think he's a head coach at all, but he's getting opportunities. So he'll probably go OC somewhere, or if he takes a head coaching job, college. Maybe Ole Miss.
No, no, Ole Miss already hired their interim head coach.
There you go. Then that's done.
How about that game? How do you that Chambliss dude, man? That was a great game. That was a great game. Shout out to Carson Beck. Him and I were freshmen in college, I think, at the exact same time. He's still playing college football. That game was nuts. What do you say? Some super chats, Rico?
Yes, sir. Let's get to super chats. And guess what? Zach Barker. What up, Zach? What up? Welcome to being a member of the Buffalo Fanatics. We appreciate you, my G. Love it. We love when we have new members. It just shows that you guys support us, and we love it, man. Let's hit up our guy, Mr. Circle the Wagon. Comes in with super chats, sending us a super sticker. What? I love that super stickers. It just shows no words, just support. Love it. All right, Circle the Wagons comes in and says, not only did I give you guys a super sticker, I'm going to come in and say thank you to the Thigh Doc for your service. Look at that.
Yes. He loves me. Shout out to Thigh for coming over. That was great to see him.
Let me tell you how hilarious that was when you turned around and you grabbed a good chunk of that thigh and you went,
listen,
that's some good stuff.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Love it.
Those are thighs of steel. Like, there's a reason he's so confident in ripping off his pants and letting the thigh, dude, if you had thighs like that, you'd do the same. I mean, you could shoot a bullet into those thighs, and I think it would bounce back at you. So, shout out to Thigh Doc.
My man, Thigh Doc. Signified Note says, Rico would blame Josh Allen before he blames McDermott in a 42-35 loss. DDS, the drought derangement syndrome.
He would not. Come on.
Signified Note. Listen, they were on me because I wholeheartely support Coach McDermott. I love Coach McDermott. I just love Coach McDermott. I don't know what it is. Maybe, and they're saying, listen, you've been in this too long. You have the drought syndrome, the drought derangement syndrome, bro. You're DDS. They started calling me DDS last show, so I get why my man Signified Knows is saying that.
I had that same conversation with my dad the other day because we're big Penn State. This same conversation. We're big Penn State fans, and me and my dad both could not wait for James Franklin to go. And he finally did. And we were talking about the Indiana pick six on the first play of the game. Oregon drops back to throw the first drop back of the football game. Indiana pick six. They're up 6-0 with 11 seconds off the clock. Are you kidding me? The Indiana Hoosiers are about to pull off the greatest program turnaround in the history of collegiate sports. They're not losing. They are going to win the whole thing.
Love it.
That you cannot beat what we just witnessed, folks. I look out of the corner of my eye and Indiana's house calling one on the first play of the game.
What a way to start a game, though. What a way to start a game. Defense puts up 6 on the board right off the rip. Dude,
I got to tell you, speaking of my Nittany Lions, who should have beaten Penn State, in fact, they're the reason why Mendoza got propelled to the Heisman, because he had an unbelievable throw and catch in that game to win it. As much as I disdain the rest of the Big Ten, how can you not root for the Hoosiers here? I mean, this would be
great.
Once again, my favorite word, Rico, historic. Zoe is staring right at me. Historic. Dude, this would be an all-time turnaround program speaking. All time.
Side note, wait till Zoe gets old enough where you're sleeping and she's able to walk and come out of her room and she's standing there looking at you dead in your face while you're asleep and you wake up to that, or standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
Bro. These kids will do some creepy ass things where you're like, what are you doing? I've seen my son stand at the top of the stairs and looking down at the top of the stairs.
That would give me a nightmare.
You just see a silhouette. He's just standing there like, dude, go to bed before I throw a pillow at you. Golly, you scared me. Anyway,
I saw someone earlier when I was ranting about Harbaugh. They said, Z-Bot, you got to stop going on Twitter and watching TV. They said, you got to live for your daughter. You're going to have a stroke. And I just looked over at her and I said, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right.
Right. All right, what's my man Teddy? Let's get some super chats so we can go watch this game here. Teddy comes in and says, send Brady to Baltimore and bring in McDaniels for OC. Think our offense would be fire. Also, regardless of which side fails, is McDermott and Bean gone if we lose? In my opinion, I think Pagulas love that tandem. Like Bot said earlier, if we just absolutely shit the bed where we get blown out 40-0, right? Something absurd. Then you'd have to have a conversation, right? But I personally think they both come back next year. That's just me.
I think it's more likely than not that Joe Brady is gone. I think that is more likely than not.
For sure. I agree.
On my stunned, not stunned meter, consider me stunned if either of those two, Bean or McDermott, are gone. Consider me stunned.
I would be.
And if that does happen, they better be damn sure they got a succession plan in mind that they're confident in. That's 100%. My whole thing. You don't just do it to do it.
And I tell you this, I do not want to hear Josh is helping us find our next head coach. I do not want to hear that at all. I've heard it when he looked at what receivers should come to the team, and I heard it what OC he wants to the team. He is banned from having a say in who leads this team and what roster spots are filled. Josh,
you brought LeBron up earlier. He hired his podcast mate as his head coach.
Well, listen,
you can't do that stuff.
LeBron is LeBron, baby.
You can't do that stuff.
LeBron, baby. What do we got?
I want to mention, though, to that point.
Yep.
I mentioned earlier how the Bills are the winningest franchise amongst the 4 major sports in the last 5 years. I don't see the incentive for Terry Pegula to make a move here. From an ownership perspective, whether you love or hate McDermott and Bean is irrelevant. From an ownership perspective, which is all that matters in this situation, I don't think he looks at the body of work and says, because you lost to Jacksonville as the worst seed on the road, you are now gone. I think he looks at it and says, this team has made me how many more billions of dollars than I had before I bought the team? And these guys have a large part in doing so. I'm going to give them a little longer of a leash. Now, does the temperature turn up going into next year? Yes. And if they pull a Chiefs or a Ravens or a Bengals or whatever again next year, we're having a different conversation. We're talking about right now. And I think the only way that happens is if they lose on Sunday and then miss the playoffs or lose in the wild card again next year. That's the only scenario I see it happening in.
Right. And I'm with you with consider me stunned if Pegula decides to move on from them. Some part of me thinks that Pegula is in the camp of I'm not moving on from either head coach or GM if they're still running this organization extremely well respected, haven't lost a locker room, and we're still a winning team. We're just a few things away from making it happen. I mean, you're looking at the Mike Tomlin-led Steelers. Steelers don't move on from the coaches, right? You don't really have dysfunction with coaches rotating every 3 years. They're gone are the days where you can have a tenured coach there for a long time. It doesn't work that way. I think Pegula is still trying to hold on to that, right? The Andy Reid sticking around for such a long time. I think he wants not a dysfunctional team. He wants dependability. He can depend on Bean. He can depend on those guys. And they keep this house clean and right. You don't have no scandals. Everything's legit. Why go and switch things up, right? We're close. We're knocking on that door, and I think he wants to keep it that way. So I'm just as stunned as you are if I hear Bean, McDermott released. What? Buddy. And it'd be crazy.
Bean would shock me a considerable amount less. I'll just say that.
Same. If I were to pick, I said it, I've been on record. If I'm picking to choose who stays, McDermott stays, Bean's got to go.
And I think the world that exists in which McDermott goes and Bean doesn't is non-existent. You want to talk about something that would shock me more than anything? That's the scenario. That scenario would shock me more than any other. It's like what the Giants are doing. How the hell are you keeping Joe Shane? How are you doing that? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like point blank, like there's no other way to put it. What are you doing?
It makes no sense.
If you're going to blow it up, Rico, blow it up.
Blow it up all the way. And if you didn't listen to your son told you who to draft and you didn't do it. And now you're paying for it. Oh,
Daddy did.
Anyway, season beast comes as long as we get a Super Bowl, that's all I want, buddy. That is all we want. That's all there is to it. He also comes back and says, I don't care what everyone says, man. Super Bowl and go and win it. Heck yes. Richie Fresh. If I got to see another Bills fan on social media crash out, I'm going to lose it. We good on this side. Bills got this 31-17. Don't be afraid. Super Bowl 60. Richie? I'm with you. I like that.
You know what my thing is? Crashing out, I don't get. Once again, the Bills they're not getting worked here. And if they do, then we're having the conversation we've been kind of sporadically having throughout the show here. That's all we're doing next week, by the way. If that,
I mean, who's crashing out, and who and why are Bills fans crashing out?
That's my whole point here, Rico. I don't understand that. The only reason all week is I've been getting ripped all week. Bob thinks we're going to lose, and he's a Jags homer. this is the problem I have. Yeah, as you know, by the way, right? Like, the problem I have is the disrespect and lack of acknowledgement for what the Jags have been this year. All I've tried to do all week is paint the picture that this isn't the Las Vegas Raiders. Right. Okay? You're not going to walk in there, dilly-dally, and move on to the divisional. This is a damn good squad through and through. Painting the picture that we're playing a good team in the wild card round does not translate into the Bills are going to get worked or I'm disbelieving in the Bills. All I'm saying is this is the best draw the Bills have made, or this is the best team the Bills have drawn in the wild card, maybe since Josh Allen was drafted, at the bare minimum since they played Houston in 2019, bar none.
I'm with you. Say less. Say less.
Yeah.
Our guy Mark. Thanks for the great show, fellas. Go Bills.
Thanks, Mark.
Love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Season Beast comes back again. Just give this money to Bot for that comment.
I don't even know what I said.
Whatever Bot said.
You know what? By the way, I'm glad he said that because I've been meaning. I was going to jokingly say that I was going to take the super chat money and buy a new hat because I've been wearing my 2024 divisional champion hat, and on TikTok, I think I'm at my 15th comment of "Time for a new hat, bro." Take that hat off, bro. And I'm like, you know what?
When you do get a new hat, just keep it straight, man. Just a flat brim.
No.
Flat brim Bot.
Do not send $1 to this channel if you expect me to spend it on a flat brim. It will not be used.
Shout out to our guy Signified Nose comes in and says, you guys are being disingenuous. Chiefs have looked like the greatest show on turf every time they play us. Meanwhile, Bengals, Ravens, and Eagles defense has shut down KC offense in the playoffs before. This is where
so let me ask you this, Signified. You want to hire Kevin or you want to hire what's his face?
Robert Saleh, who you want?
No. Robert, you want to hire Sirianni? Signified? You want to give Sirianni a call? I mean, listen, the Eagles roster, if we're comparing the Eagles roster to the Bills, that's the equivalent of a Pro Bowl roster compared to the Bills. In reality, that's dude, the fact that team isn't beating people by 20 points a week is insane. That roster is ridiculous. If Josh Allen had that roster, they'd be on their they'd be on their three-peat right now. I can guarantee it. Are you kidding me? If they had that roster, we would be on here talking like the Patriots were talking a decade ago.
Yep.
So that's irrelevant to me. And the other point to make here, too, is the Ravens have also had would you not say the Ravens have probably had the better roster than the Bills throughout the time in which Lamar and the Bills? Yes.
No question.
So if anything, I think this is where I think Sean McDermott in some respects does get a bad rap. Nobody wants to give credit to this roster, yet they want to discredit Sean McDermott for not winning 17 games. They just won 12. And they've done that like yearly. And they've never had a roster in which the whole league looked at and went, is that not the best roster in sports?
Nobody, I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention any of that. And I'll tell you this, people are still sour. Even with a record of 105-59, I believe what it was. I can't recall. Right? One of the winningest coaches right now, current. That 13-second game still has people sour to the point where they should have fired him after that game. My gosh.
And if you did, you want to know what? Yeah, exactly. If you did, Rico, you want to know what? I don't know if anybody really would have complained about it because it was that bad.
It was bad. Bad.
But you didn't, and it was 3 or 4 years ago, and you've still had success since. So you can't look back on that. You just can't. Right.
But it was bad. I was watching the highlights of that game, just the back and forth, and I was like, my gosh, with 13 seconds left, how the did we lose?
So Carolina's been growing increasingly intrigued in everything, which has been making my, I love it. I love it. Like when I explained to her the playoffs and how it all works, like she's loving it. So I was talking to her about the 13 seconds, and she literally asked me, she said, can you explain to me how it was even possible that they were able to win that game? And I really did not have, because I have to put it in simple terms, right? And I got to be honest with you, brother. I really, really couldn't do it. I basically had to say it was one of the worst. It was one of the worst and most mismanaged moments in NFL history. And I have no other way to put it.
It's absolutely up there. And I'll tell you right now, you do not feel bad for not having an explanation, because guess what? McDermott didn't have one. Leslie Frazier didn't have one. Nobody had one. Nobody had an explanation. They were mum. So how could you expect us to have an explanation of that? I'm still puzzled as to. I'm not even going to go there because I'm just going to make myself upset. I'm not even going to do it. Not going to do it.
What's so funny? If they were to lost that game by 10, I swear to God, the amount of people wanting to fire McDermott would probably be decreased by, what would you guess, 30 to 40%? If they had lost that game by double digits as opposed to having a lead with 13 seconds, I bet you the amount of people wanting him gone would be about half. Because you're damn right. You're nailing it. Whether people want to admit it or not, that is the catalyst in all of this.
Yep.
It is still to this day the catalyst of all of this. It is the nucleus that is surrounded by the mob in which wants McDermott gone. Point blank.
Oh boy. And you know what? It's gonna grow. And even if McDermott gets the AFC Championship game, they're still gonna want him gone. They're still gonna want him gone. There's some people that just have a disdain for McDermott and they want nothing to do with him. And they hate that I have still some love for him. Some people are like, yo, how could you? Guys, knock it off.
That's what I meant to mention earlier when Indiana made that pick six and I didn't get a chance to say it.
Yep.
I was talking about how we wanted Franklin gone.
Yes.
Me and my dad were talking, no matter what happens Sunday and what happens with McDermott, me and my dad are dead aligned with you. There's something about him that we just genuinely like as a person.
Yes.
And we said if he got fired, regardless if they lost 35-0 Sunday, we both agreed we would be sad. We would be sad to see McDermott go. Yes.
I'll tell you right now, I'd have a moment.
I would too.
Yo, I'm not going to cap. I would have a moment.
Like as you're thinking about it right now, is that not coming over you? Are you not feeling the weight of that? Yes.
You know what I remember? I remember him coming in. And everybody was all over the place. Come on in, and this is the new coach, and this is the process. And he had us bought in. We bought in, and we saw what it looked like from us being crap to he just got us out there, and we've been legit ever since. And he's a good character guy.
That is what matters. That is what people do not value anymore. People do not value a class act anymore. Maybe because it's so difficult to find. I have no idea,
bro.
But you know what? It's undervalued, and you don't realize how important it is until you don't have it.
Until it's gone. I'll tell you, when he came in and he was gaining every reporter by name, didn't know soul. Sal, that's a great question, Sal. Here's what I mean by that, Sal. Hey, Jim, that's a great question, dude. I was like, no, this guy's legit. Even when the microphones weren't working, I was loving this guy. This guy's legit. So I would be sad if they say, hey, the Bills have parted ways with Sean McDermott.
Yep.
I'll be like, whoa, breaking news. Fan loses it. Crashes out.
Being a high character guy, by the way, touchdown Oregon just tied the game. This is going to be a fun one to watch tonight.
Yep.
Being a high character guy does not buy you the ability to keep your job forever. But it buys you the ability for people like you and me to respectfully say thank you for your service while you were here, coach. That's how I see it. Being this great guy and a leader of men and a high character guy who represents the franchise as well as you would hope, it doesn't buy you the right to be the coach for 20 years. But it buys you the right that when you're on the way out the door, should that happen, you and I can both look at that guy and say, hey, they weren't able to get it done, but I'll be damned. I'll look back and I'll say, man, I had a hell of a lot of respect for Coach McDermott and I enjoyed the hell out of the time while he was here. Point blank.
Yeah. I mean, we've rolled through a lot of coaches. Is there one coach other than that you're like, man, I like that coach?
Not even remotely close. I mean, not even one. That's a great point you bring up. Think about the carousel of BS before he came in.
Mike Mularkey.
How soon we forget what that looked like.
Buddy.
I mean, and it's not even the X's and O's, just the guy at the podium. Listen, it's like, what are we doing here? We're a joke.
Doug
At least
Marrone,
carry yourself right.
The worst. Hated Doug Marrone. Not a fan. The Mortician. Golly, Dick Geron. Buddy, we've had some doozies. So this, McDermott has been a listen, love that guy. That's what I got. What do we got? We got Hang Low says, on this so-called win streak, the Jags.
Here it is.
The Jags. What the heck? Am I not
He's
reading
saying
this right?
On this win streak, who the hell have the Jags beat? Trash competition. They beat the brakes off the Denver Broncos. Now, hang low. This is where I'm conflicted. Because the world is the world has a lot of ifs. If this, then that. If I did this, then that, right? We talked about this on Monday night on my show. If. So I know this is one of those examples. I get where you're coming from. If you were to remove that Denver game, I would be saying the same thing as you. They beat the Titans twice. They're terrible. They beat the Colts twice. They had one of the worst collapses in recent memory. I get all that.
Yep.
That Denver victory, and Rico, I know you said you rewatched the game and it was close throughout.
Everybody go watch it. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah, and it was close throughout. But guess what?
Yep.
Denver is the 1 seed, and they still beat them by double digits. You can't. Yep. Trevor Lawrence had 3 touchdowns, no picks, nearly 300 yards in that game, and 115 passer rating. I'm not in the business of discrediting people. If you want to discredit people, then you got to factor in the fact that the Bills lost to the Dolphins, the Falcons. Like, we can't be doing this. Yeah. You still got to go win the game, and the guys just won for 2 straight months. You cannot discredit it. I get what you're saying, but the Bills, they lost by 17 to the Dolphins, who fired their GM 4 days before. We can't be doing this. They still won the games. But I respect what you're saying, Hang Low, because I get it. On the surface, it's like, dude, like that schedule was pretty buns. I get it. But you still got to win the games, and they're playing damn well in those games. If you watch them, it's not just the competition level, but it's the way they kind of look when you're watching them. They're humming, and that's a lot to do with Liam Cohen and how he's got these guys playing.
And guess what? They can hum all they want, but you know what I see happening? Joe Brady and McDermott are about to put on a masterclass. And you know what? That's what I've been feeling. I feel McDermott is just dialed in, knows what he needs to do. We're getting some healthy bodies back that changes the dynamic of this offense. And I'll tell you right now, healthy O-line, great running back, motivated and pissed off Josh and ready to roll playoff Josh. I love those odds. I love Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has had a phenomenal year, great year. But listen, you went 4-13 just last year, right? We're gonna put that little Cinderella act to bed. All right, big boys are here now to play. All right, it was cute. You did a great job. You can build on the success of the Jaguars, but we're not about to let that Jaguars loss from years ago, back 20 plus years ago, affect us. Not this time. We're gonna handle business, and that's truly how I feel.
That's the other thing. The amount of the Bills are 0-2 against the Jags in the playoffs. Oh, sorry, I wasn't alive in 1996, I know, buddy. Like, what are we doing here?
Love that. Signified knows I can get behind the bringing back coach, but bringing back Bean is indefensible. The roster construction the last 2 years is criminal. Workplace malpractice. He has wasted 2 years of Allen and Cook's prime. And this is where don't color me stunned if they moved on from Bean. I'd be like, okay. So hopefully we can, and Sean McDermott can now go find that GM that feels that he's got it. And listen, I'm making this a joke, but it'd be hilarious if he says, hey, Doug Whaley, you ready to run this thing back? You ready to make this? Hey, Dougie Whaley, let's start what we supposed to finish. Let's get back on track and let's get this thing rolling, baby. We got the quarterback. Now let's build this roster right. I'm half joking, but I'm half dead ass serious, because I'll tell you this. I'm actually more joking than anything. But it would, because Whaley was close. He just couldn't manage the money right quick. So maybe he's learned a couple things here and there. But wouldn't that be something hilarious? But anyway, joke aside, listen, Bean he's lost a lot of the trust in some of the fan base because of how he's constructed his team and this rigmarole of putting this receiver in and putting that receiver out and drafting this guy and it's not working out and benching him. It's just been a mess. It's been messy. So I want him to get back on track if he's still around. Chances are he will be. I'd be stunned if he wasn't. Both of them back. But this needs to be constructed around Josh. Get the points on the board. McDermott will figure out on defense because he's been figuring out this whole time. So that's Firstly,
thank you, Signify, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Super chat, no doubt.
Secondly, Bean made his bed. And if he gets fired, he's got to lay in it. He had a horrendous last year. There's really no other way to put it. You're looking at who had the worst year the last year, McDermott, Bean. I mean, it's not even comparable. And he did it to himself. It was the way he went about it.
True.
You go on GR and do what you do. You don't make a single move at the trade deadline, and you tell everybody in the media and all the fans this isn't fantasy football. Meanwhile, everybody else is making moves.
And you hated it. You said it. You're like, I hate this. I was like, I love it.
When it first happened?
Oh, yeah. You hated it.
Remember? Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
You did hate it. I remember that because we were going back and forth. I was like, I love it. That's what you're supposed to do. We did put up 30 points. Boy, was I bamboozled.
And I said, you don't go on radio, especially your local affiliate, and drill these guys over a fair take. And look how that looks 6 months later. In fact, if he gets fired, Rico, it'll actually be his undoing. That single moment. I guarantee you, if you eliminated that, I bet, once again, going back to the 13-second analogy with McDermott and kind of decreasing the amount of people that would be on the wagon of getting rid of him, you get rid of that GR soundbite, how many less people are on the I'm sick of being train? A lot less. And I got to be honest with you, it takes a lot for me to kind of switch up how I feel. Between that and then the not making a move at the trade deadline, watching Jacoby Myers go to Jacksonville and dominate. And then it was the way when he went to the podium, it was this constant, this isn't fantasy football. This isn't fantasy football. And then you get the report that Waddle was there. It was just a matter of a year disagreement. You really the bed's been made. The bed's been made. And I like Bean. I've met Bean. He's a good guy. I like Bean. And he's done a great job. If you're looking at the scope of things in totality, he has. This last year, mixed with an early exit here, I don't think it could be much worse, to be honest. Could it be worse in terms of could you be the Raiders? Yes. But from a top-tier organizational standpoint, there's a lot of little moments that stack up where you're like, man, not good. Not good.
Some are looking at Brandon Beane, looking at and I hate it because it sucks for Josh, but bro, we have Josh. We can build around these other things because Josh is good enough. Bro, you still have to give him the weapons he needs to succeed. You saw what it looked like when you gave him Diggs. You saw what it looked like. My gosh, the offense completely changed. We're on fire. Things were rolling and moving, bro. And then you went away from that. Why would you do that? Right? I know he's talented. I know he's that guy. But Brandon, I was for it, but now when you look at it now, you're like, boy, if somebody has to fall on the sword, it's got to be you, bro. It's got to be you because listen, you look at this roster left and right. We're patching holes. We're in the pool trying to enjoy ourselves in the pool, and there's a hole here. Patch. There's another one. Patch. I got to take the sticker off of that one so I can patch this one. Bam. It's getting to the point where we're running out of patches. We're just going to be seeing it. We're going to be in a pool with no water.
You're dead on. And the thing with him is he strikes me as a very, very intelligent person. This is why this whole sequence here has been very shocking to me. There were several moments in which I think he mishandled them. And if he would have just went about them differently, I'm not even saying the outcome had to be different, but just the way he approached the situation, had they have been different optically, I think he would be in a way different situation right now. That's what's kind of confusing to me. He seems like a good guy. He seems like a good hang. I have nothing bad to say about him. And then all of a sudden there's these moments where it just feels like he mismanaged the way it was all represented on top of not delivering, right? Okay. It was kind of a combination.
Check this out. Have you ever been in a position where you've had friends, family, whomever over, and you made them a meal? It may not even be big. Let's just say you had a buddy over. You had me over or whoever. Have you invited someone over and you made the meal? You cooked it.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
What was the meal? Do you remember?
You know what? I got to be honest with you. The answer actually to that question is no.
I love your honesty.
I've never had people over and I've actually cooked. If we're having people over, we're getting something. And that's the way it's going to be.
You know what? I love your honesty there. Because you could have said, yes, I have. And you're like,
no, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? No, I've never actually done that in my life.
I've always been the one that brought my fork and knife and I was ready to eat. Never the one to prepare the meal, which is okay. I have had people come over and I've cooked the meal. And the whole time I'm like, I know that I think I did a great job. And I'm hoping everybody loves it. And if everybody says, man, this was amazing, you're feeling great. If somebody says, oh, it's a little dry, you're going to feel like you're going to feel some type of way. GMs, when they are responsible for drafting and bringing on product to the team and players, and when we let them have it that it wasn't good, there's a ego hit. And His ego was being absolutely hit when they said, you did not do enough in the receiver room. While he's like, well, the rest of the roster does their job, and this offense was doing good. The groceries I got from last week is still making this turkey real good. It's still making whatever feel. The point I'm trying to make is he's living off of what he brought last year and thinking that's going to be sustainable. But, bro, we need more. We need more. And you didn't do enough. So now his ego got hit. And that's where he was like, you guys think it's fantasy football? You think it's easy? You think it's, and that was him lashing back. But boy, did it hit back against him because it's not good. WGR guys can lap around his ass and say, hey, we tried to tell you, bro. We tried to tell you, but here we are. Anyway, let me get to some super chats here, and then we're gonna get out of here. Our guy, we got another member coming through. Buffalo Bill Sandbox. What's up? We love that. Welcome to the squad. Welcome to the big squad. And we got a great super chat coming from our guy Season Beast. What up, Season Beast? Hey. Put this towards the new hat and curb that bill. I think Bob
I will. I will, Season.
With just a flat brim. You know what I'm saying? Maybe turn it to the side just a little bit. Yo, you'd be fire, bro.
I don't think you understand how bad it would be. I don't have one because I refuse to wear one to show you how bad it would be. If we win I'll buy one and I'll wear it.
I would love to see a flat brim, and then you could disrespect the hat by bending it how you see fit.
Oh, I will absolutely eviscerate it. I will break that thing in half.
I will eviscerate it. Richie Fresh comes in. Reason for the Bills winning the Super Bowl 60. Santa Clara, only stadium he hasn't played in. Eagles, only team left to beat. Bills over the Eagles, Super Bowl 60. Funny feeling in my pants as I type this. Not a worry. Richie Fresh coming in hot.
Likely, in order to get there, he would have to win in NRG Stadium against the Texans, one of the only places he's never won. The script is writing itself.
Last super chat of the night comes to our guy Signified Nose, comes in and says, so you admit you would rather have a nice guy, tremendous loser, than someone who can take us over the top. Yeah. I'm taking winning over character 100 times out of 10.
So you know how when we were talking about this and I said that I wanted to say that character doesn't earn you the right to be the coach for 20 years, but it earns you the right to have respect out the door. You want to know who I had in mind when I went back to say that? It was you, Signified. Look what you've done. I literally did that because I was thinking of you. Because I thought in my mind, what would Signify say to the response of wanting a high character guy as a coach? Signified would say exactly what you just said. That is why I went back and said, it does not earn you the right to be the coach forever, but it earns you the right to have respect out the door should it come to that. So I don't know whether to thank you or shame you for you creeping into the way I think in terms of the points I'm trying to make, but that is exactly what happened. I swear to God. I thought of you while we were talking about it. That's why I pivoted and gave an example of why I felt that way, because I knew this was coming. So Signified, I think it's been too many years of us going back and forth in the chat that has crept into me, but I love that was exactly what happened.
I love it. I love how you clocked him too. By the way, before we get out of here, Walt mentions, why would McDermott choose another GM when he can end up on the outs as well? So one coach that hasn't won shit is going to get his second GM. Well, I mean, listen, if they moved on from Brandon Beane, what difference does it make if he's involved in choosing the GM or Pagula gets it? If things don't work out, the GM can say, I mean, the way the dynamic is anyway, Pagula's, I don't know if it's going to be the same way, but Pagula's the one in charge of doing all those things anyway. So why not have your head coach help in charge? Because you want that chemistry between the two. I mean, I don't understand. Well, why? Am I really?
I get what he's saying. It's I guess it's like the idea of if you're going to blow the whole thing up, blow it up like we talked about earlier. But right. I just think that what we were saying is of the two, which would you be less shocked of? And I think that's what we were saying.
Right.
Do I think if they went with one, they would go with the other? I think probably. But I think our whole point was if there were to be one to go, I think the best way to put it, Rico, we don't see a scenario where McDermott goes but Beane stays, but we see a scenario where Beane goes but McDermott stays if we had to pick between the two. I think that's probably the way we're looking at it.
I mean, that's what I would look at it too. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
All right. We have an unbelievable game going down in the college football playoff semifinal. We will allow you and us to watch that in just a second. Before we do, we want to give you a shout out to our friends over at Sleeper who got you covered top to bottom, this upcoming wild card weekend, which kicks off tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We cannot wait. It's the best weekend of the year. Make it that much better with a free $20 entry over on Sleeper. Link in the description below. Click that and sign up for a Sleeper account. And once you do, you will immediately get that free $20 entry. Once you use that free $20 entry, use the promo code on your screen, RTS, and that will get you BF25. I'm so used to doing my other read that I misled you. It's BF25. That'll get you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently available in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper via the link in the description below. So tomorrow you got, is it Packers Rams you got, or is it another?
Give me. Yeah, no, I'm taking the Bears. Bears and Rams. Bears and Rams should have that, by the way. Our guy, Walter, comes as Rico. It matters because he chose the last guy you said isn't good enough. You literally just said Allen should not be given a choice to choose personnel from his past, for this past miss. The
reason is that, like, what, God forbid, and I'm not saying it happens, but I'm just saying this has happened in the past. God forbid Allen woke up one day and said, you know what? Andrew Luck had a point. Then what do? You cannot have the player sit down at the table and make the decision. Do you respect the opinion of the player and maybe factor it in slightly? Sure. Yes. But he can't have a seat at the table making the decisions with the other guys. You just can't. You can't do that.
We've seen it. Last one for us. Genuine question coming up from our guy, Richie Fresh. He says, does McDermott get a pass because of the Jags, or would you feel different if he lost to KC for a fifth time? Something to think about. I mean, it would have been egregious if he lost to the if KC were in it, he would have lost fifth time to the same team, same organization, same scheme, same every, you know it all. Very different. I think it is different in my case, in this scenario.
It is different because this is what sucks. Like, the Jags are a good team, but if I were to just say out loud, the Bills lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs, doesn't that just sound bad? Regardless of how good they are, it just sounds bad. Whereas if I were to say the Bills lost to the Patriots in the playoffs, the Bills lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs, the Bills lost to the Ravens in the playoffs. This is what I'm talking about earlier when I'm saying, like, the perception of Jacksonville is just not very high. And that's why people look at this game and they just think the Bills are going to roll them, where they haven't taken into consideration that they're actually a good team. To Richie's point, it would definitely look worse because I think optically it just seems worse. Even though, is it really? I don't know.
We'll never know. We'll find out. Hopefully we don't find out. Anyway, folks,
enjoy
your evening. We got some football to watch, and tomorrow's going to be a fun-packed day. It's going to be, listen, Bot's going to be busy. He's going to be busy. His voice is going to be hoarse. Just save your voice. Have some lemon tea because we're going to be singing and dancing when it's all said and done on Sunday, baby. Listen, they've been asking for us to dance, man. They've been asking. Where the dancing at? Listen, these last few weeks, bro. How's it? I mean, I can't dance for the Jets. I can't dance for that.
No.
Why now?
Come on, we're saving ourselves, and we hope that we are able to dance with you on Sunday. We will be coming at you live on Sunday, pregame, 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Rico and I will be with you on the postgame Sunday, hopefully recapping the advancement to the divisional round. And, of course, during the game, Pierre will be live with you throughout the duration. We cannot wait for it. But for tonight, that's going to do it on a Friday night. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy the Saturday slate. We will see you Sunday. That's Rico. I'm Bot. Much love as always. And go Bills.
Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas make socks, slippers, tees, and underwear made with the highest quality materials. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for style, 3 for donation. You chose style. Bombas has styles for whatever you enjoy. You can run in Bombas, lounge in Bombas, dress them up, dress them down, but always give back in Bombas. Because with every item purchased, another is donated. Bombas, comfort worth calling for. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code audio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code audio.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.